from that horrible defeat on Tuesday at Fylde, and Dean Keats in his team selection has reflected what he thought of that match and maybe what he thinks having scouted Orient, because he's picked a very attacking side to try and make amends here today. I'm Mark Griffiths and I'm joined by James Harrison, and we'll be taking you through the entire match. And then at half-time we've got Sam Wedgbury joining us. He is suspended today. If you want to ask him any questions, or indeed if you want to ask us any questions throughout the game, then please use the hashtag AskWrexham, ASKWXM on Twitter, and we'll endeavour to respond. If you want to ask Sam any questions on that hashtag, please do so. So anyway, without any further ado, let's look at this attacking side that Dean Keats has put out. Fans have been clamouring for him to play Marcus Kelly in a central midfield position, something he hasn't done this season from the outset. Well, he has this time. McKelly, with Wedgbury suspended in the middle of midfield, comes in a central position, and he's also picked both wingers, so a very, very attacking looking team with Rutherford and McCreth on the flanks and Kelly in the middle to create. So that Wrexham side, Chris Dunn is in goal. In at right back is James Hurst. At left back, James Jennings. Skipper Sean Pearson returns alongside Manny Smith. And in midfield, Kelly is partnered by Akil Wright in the middle of the pitch. Right-hand side is Jack McCreth. Left-hand side is Paul Rutherford. Up front, Natumba Masanka starts alongside Chris Holroyd. A subs bench for Wrexham, sub-keeper Christian Dibble, Alex Reid, Mark Carrington, Scott Bowden, and back in the squad, Leo Smith. As for how Orient line up, I don't know. And I'm not saying that out of ignorance. I've watched their last few games. They chopped and changed like mad on Tuesday when they lost at home to Gateshead. Tried 3 different formations in the first 40 minutes. They've got injuries as well and suspensions that hit them after that match. And as a result, I've got to be honest, I know their squad fairly well, but looking at the 11 players on their team sheet, I'm still not completely convinced of how they're going to line up. I'm going to take a rough stab at a 4-3-3. I'm not saying that with any confidence. If it was that, it would be Charlie Granger at the back in goal. The defence, Jake Caprice, Mark Ellis, Dan Happy and Jamie Sendles-White. In midfield, James Dayton, Zane Westbrook and James Brophy. And then a dangerous-looking trio up front, David Mooney, Macaulay Bonne and Romo Boko. The subs for them, Sam Sargent, Miles Judd, Craig Clay, Matt Harold and Rule Sotirio. However, all that is up for negotiation, and I don't think we'll be certain how they're lining up until we actually see the game start off. But James, I think there's 2 factors possibly in Dean Keats going for this very bold lineup. Partly a reaction to Fylde, where we didn't look like the solid team we've looked like all season, and therefore I think he feels he's got to change things and have a more bold approach. And also perhaps the fact that Orient, who are struggling anyway, 2 points out of the last 27, and struggling even after last Tuesday with those extra absences, that maybe he thinks this is a team you can get at.
Yeah, I think Dean Keats is quite a stubborn individual, and he sticks with what he's got, and he perseveres with that. I think he knows that he needs to be a bit more attacking and a bit more direct at times, particularly at home. And I think he has faith in the players to do the job, and when they don't do the job, as was the case at Fylde on Tuesday, then he's quite prepared to be ruthless as well, which we also saw in the summer with the way he overhauled the squad. So whilst he's stubborn to a certain extent, he will make changes when he has to, and he's made sweeping changes. The changes I think a lot of fans wanted to see. It's the substitutions from a couple of games ago at home when Kelly moved into midfield, McCreth came on, we looked very dangerous and went on and won the game. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. If this had been Keats' lineup, I was predicting it, I would have predicted Carrington would be in the midfield, simply because of the absence of Wedgbury, and he would have stuck status quo with Kelly on the left rather than on the right. I'm interested to see. I think this is what we need to do at home, is we need to be more attacking, we need to be more positive, we need to create chances. We're not a side that's doesn't have strikers up front that's going to create their own chances. So as a midfield, we have to create those chances for the strikers if we want to score goals. So we don't have that striker who can get the ball to his feet and you're confident he'll beat the man and slot it home. So we need to be more creative. I think that's probably the most creative 11 we've gone out. Almost too attacking, I suppose, with Wright and Kelly in the centre midfield. But as we saw against Tranmere, the two worked well together.
Yeah, it is fascinating just how attacking this team is, and it'll be fascinating to see how things go. I'm just checking my records, and yeah, Rutherford and McCrath have never started the same game together either. So those two together in the starting line for the first time. Kelly in attacking midfield. It's like you say, it's him overcoming his stubbornness, or him maybe finally thinking, okay, I've given that setup a good run, now it's time to change. But also, like I said, I think perhaps the nature of the opposition might have something to play here. That Orient, honestly, having watched them play, that defensively they don't look great. They've got their left back, who looks solid, out injured as well today. They've got 2 long-term injuries for their 2 first-choice centre-backs. And surely Keats is thinking, right, this is an opportunity against this opposition to kickstart us creatively.
Yeah, I mean, we know Dean and his team scout teams well, and they look at the information and watch the game footage of all the teams ahead. So yeah, he'll be aware of that. We know he prepares meticulously, but I think as well as he'll be looking at it, this league has proved that it doesn't really matter what it says on paper, that everyone's beating everyone. But it is about time that someone, grabbed the league by the scruff of the neck and really drove forward. And why can't it be Wrexham? We're in a nice little position without playing well. These are the type of games, yes, you'd have thought you can go for the jugular on this one. We can take this team apart because their defensive record isn't great, and it's an opportunity at home. We're not going to have a home game for another 4 or 5 weeks now, so we really need to put a lasting memory in the racecourse fans' minds that they come back and they can see some positives before that December sort of winter hits in.
I've got to be honest, I saw this week as an opportunity. Once we beat Dagenham away, which on paper was the toughest match, I thought, okay, there's a lot of teams up there all chipping points off each other. This is a chance maybe to string 3 wins in a week together and actually make a statement. We would have gone level top if we'd won on Tuesday. Well, we missed out on that on Filed, and we were lucky to get no points, and Filed, quite frankly, we were shocking. So at least there's a chance to turn it around. 6 points out of 9. When you look at what the other teams near the top of the table are doing, wouldn't be a bad return, and as I said, would be insurance to the fixtures to come.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. We've gone away, played awfully, still end up third and still end up 3 points. So we've not lost any ground randomly, but because, like you said, everyone's leading. But at some point, we've got to put a run together. We've got to start creating the chances. We've got to start scoring goals, whether that's personnel coming in or whether it's just playing to a system that really allows our current force to flourish in it.
Absolutely. Well, as we mentioned, Tuesday was horrible, and Dean Keats, as you can imagine, wasn't too pleased after that experience. Have a little listen to his post-match interview.
I'm Sean Pearson, follow Wrexham AFC on Calon FM.
Dean, the unbeaten run has come to an end. Fair to say, an off night?
Not an off night. It's by far the worst performance of the season, and all I can do is apologise to the fans. Unbelievable following, and they didn't deserve that. That's nowhere near good enough.
Any reason why? Was it just the effects of Saturday?
No, you know what? You can look at reasons why. We had a good chat in there. Got a few things off our chest, played the air. Not good enough. Got 11 unbeaten in the league. Good result at the weekend, and obviously we came here and obviously I said we set standards, and that was nowhere near.
Did you know from the first 15-20 minutes you were off the base?
No, you could see. I mean, I can't make excuses for anything. It just wasn't good enough. There's no excuses. It wasn't a good enough performance, and as I said, the following night we brought up here tonight deserved a lot more than that.
Obviously, no Sean Pearson tonight. Was that a major factor?
It's going to be a loss for us because he's captain and he leads by example, and he's massive for us. But you know what? Players get opportunities and they have to step up, and that's not criticism of young Ollie. And obviously, Sean's vocal, and other people need to step up when he's not in the team.
Because I'm sure you weren't surprised, because File showed 10 days ago, possibly the league position is a false one.
Yeah, as you said, obviously we were disappointed with the performance we put on 10 days ago, but tonight was worse, and as I said, it's not good enough, and there'll be a reaction come Saturday. Yeah,
as a manager, do you learn more from a defeat than you do from a victory?
No, you learn all the time. Obviously, learn from the weekend, and obviously we'll learn from tonight.
Cheers, James. So yeah, it was grim on on Tuesday, absolutely grim, and Wrexham need to bounce back from that. Are we thinking about the character that the club, Dean Keats has deliberately brought into the club? Are we a team, you think, that's a set-up to show character and bounce back straight afterwards?
I believe so. There's definitely an abundance of character in that dressing room, an abundance of character and spirit in that changing room. They want to win, they want to buy into what Dean's bringing in, so I can't question that. I can question sometimes our attacking traits, and we question some of the style of play. We've been told all through pre-season we want to play with wit, and today is the first time that you just said that Rutherford and McCreth are starting together. Yes, there may be some injuries in that and a bit of form, but we want to play with wit, we want to play with winners. It's the first time we're starting with 2 out-and-out winners, and it's the first time we've trusted Kelly as a starter in the centre of midfield. I think I can understand the caution. I can understand the let's see how it goes for the first few games. I think this league's there to be won. I think we've got a squad that can challenge, and I want to see response. And when we've been asking for responses in previous games this season, when we've had a poor performance, we've seen it. So no excuses. He's got pretty much his best 11 out there, apart from Wedgbury, in my opinion. Apart from arguably who partners Holroyd is would be the question, but generally there's there's probably Dunn and Dibble is a bit like Swan, Jalal and Chris Dunn last year. Yeah. It's some will like one and others will like the other. So those are my 2 question marks in this formation. Apart from that, I think it's a good side. It's a side that's set up to hopefully attack and hopefully score goals.
Absolutely, as the teams are now on their way out. We've had our first question for Sam Wedgbury. Jonah Devitt asking the question we all need to know the answer to: will the beard make a comeback? So we'll grill him at half-time to find that out. Remember, keep the questions coming for Sam and for us if you want to know how the game's going on #AskWXM on Twitter. So we'll try and keep you abreast and answer any direct questions you have and put any ones you got to Sam to him when he pops up at half-time. Anyway, the teams, as you can hear, are out on the pitch now. Wrexham in their red shirts and white shorts, Leighton Orient in their change kit of all blue. And so to go through the sides again, it's a very attacking looking Wrexham lineup. Wrexham lineup with Chris Dunn in goal. At right back, James Hurst. Left back, James Jennings. The 2 central defenders, Sean Pearson and Manny Smith. Across midfield, Marcus Kelly in the centre of midfield, alongside Akil Wright. On the flanks, Paul Rutherford and Jack McCreth. Up front, Natumba Masanka partners Chris Holroyd. So 4 changes in the team. That was so disappointing at Fylde. On the bench, Wrexham, Tristan Dibble, the sub-keeper, Alex Reid, Mark Harrington, Scott Bowden and Leo Smith. As for Orient, like I said before, it will be interesting to see just how they line up. They've got Charlie Granger in goal. Jake Caprice, Mark Ellis, Dan Happy and Jamie Sandals-White are all defensive options. Zane Westbrook, probably the only player you consider to be an out-and-out central midfielder. He may be joined by James Brophy and James Dayton either side of him. David Mooney, Macaulay Bonne and Romo Bocco are all players with an attacking bent to their style of play. The subs for them: Sam Sargent, Miles Judd, Craig Clay, Matt Harold and Rule Sotirio. A couple of surprising names on the bench for them, because Clay for me is a very solid regulating defensive midfielder, and Matt Harold a dangerous character. He's been out injured for a while. He's a good big target man and they'll be eager to get him back into action. He's not ready to start a match yet, but he'll be a threat. I mean, looking at Orient, Macaulay Bonne has been scoring goals. Mooney is an experienced, clever striker as well. And Caprice, the right fullback or wing-back, causes all sorts of problems when he played against us for Woking last season. He loves to get forwards. But, in the heart of their midfield, they've got Happy, an 18-year-old centre-back. They've got 2 central defenders out injured. They've got their first-choice left-back out injured as well. And, well, Wrexham need to get after them early on, you suspect.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Leighton Orient are doing that. They've come down to the conference, National League. They're finding out what it's about. They're finding out it's not as straightforward as perhaps they thought it might be. As we all have done coming down from the league, it is a tough transition. And players are, they're finding out what players can do at this level, what players need to do. Yes, they're hampered by suspensions and injuries, but all teams go through that, and Wrexham have got to be ruthless.
Absolutely. Well, we're nearly ready to get going. Neil Hare, the satisfyingly named referee. Not so satisfying does he refed us first day of the season when we lost to Macclesfield. Our only home loss of the season is about to get things underway. Wrexham against Leyton Orient.
Hamilton and Masanko. Follow Wrexham AFC on Calon FM.
Jack McCrath stands on the ball, ready to get things going. The referee checks the players are ready. Wrexham will be kicking towards the Kop in the first half, and we've got Rutherford, Holroyd and Masanka all lining up on the left side on the halfway line, ready to charge forwards and try and make an early impression when Wrexham start off. McCrath works it back to Pearson, and Wrexham work it short. That was a decoy. Jennings carries it forward to the halfway line, and now he lofts it looking for Masanka, headed away by Happy, drops in midfield, Akil Wright just beaten to it, it's hacked out of play. You'll be glad, Sam, it wasn't our usual kick off straight out for a throw-in, because that irks you, doesn't it?
It does. It's something I've mentioned to Dean Keaton, Shropshire Reds meeting, it's something I've mentioned to James Jennings, and it's something I'll be asking Sam Wedgbury, because he's the biggest culprit launching it half time.
He's got to be in his bonnet, James, and he's not in the mood to let it go as the throw-in's taken, headed partly away, drops in midfield, Kelly has it, oh, lovely skill, goes past his man and swings an early ball into the box. Masanka brings it in nicely, can't find the angle for the shot, he lays it wide, Rutherford drives it in the goal, takes the deflection off the defender, and Wrexham score! 44 seconds in, and Chris Holroyd hits the net, a free header from a yard out. There is a massive inquest. The Orient defence are going crazy, they're screaming abuse at each other. The keeper throwing his arms out wide, Rex the Dragon not improving his mood by dancing around behind him, but there was a massive confab in the penalty area. It's still going on, everyone's pointing fingers, but basically Wrexham were direct. Masanka took an early ball into the box, and when Rutherford drove that cross in, well, took a deflection to the span and Holroyd couldn't miss.
Well, dream start, and Holroyd, the striker that is doing the business for Wrexham, gets another one. But great play by Kelly, as you suggested in commentary. Good little skill, brought it down to Masanka. Masanka actually got a decent first touch for change, slotted in Rutherford. Yes, he got fortunate with a deflection, but Holroyd couldn't miss the far post, and Orient all at sea in defence, and it's the start Wrexham wanted.
Absolutely. Rutherford finding himself in pretty much the same position he was in when he hit the ball in for that own goal last Saturday. And wow, Orient, well, if we're suggesting they've got a soft centre, there you go. But they do have decent attacking players. Here, there's one of them, Macaulay Bond, who has to work it back into midfield. Westbrook spreads it over to the left-hand side. It's picked up by Brophy, who comes narrow looking for support and plays a ball, and Kelly can't quite get a foot in. Oh, Akil Wright does not. Wrexham can break here. Kelly squares it. Rutherford on the left. Early ball to the path of Masanka, chasing after it, and he forces a sliding tackle to put it out of play. But a throw into Wrexham, 25 yards out from Sendles White. Wrexham clearly looking to be direct and get at the opposition.
Yeah, absolutely. Kelly directing play from the midfield early on. Binds Rutherford with a great first-time ball to Masanka, who could have really, I think, just put a little bit more energy into getting there. He might just beat his man, but clever play by Wrexham and good attacking intent.
Throw in taken, Jennings 30 yards out, back to the halfway line. Kelly is very busy early on, dinks it forwards, and it's headed up in the air somewhat by Dayton, and in the end cleared by Ellis. Manny Smith jumping with Bond, it spins loose, they jump again. Bond beats Smith in the air and finds Dayton, who plays a teasing ball over the top. Dunn comes out of the box, and it's an awkward clearance by him. Luckily for him, it doesn't drop kindly for Dayton, who was following us up 30 yards out. Dayton has now on a left flank and has bodies in the box to aim at as he tries to take on Hurst, works it down the line, level the edge of the area now as McCrath trying to do a defensive job, and Akil Wright with him, and they've done well between them to block off their man and run it behind for the goal kick. Good cover that, particularly by Wright.
Yeah, Wright just looks stronger and stronger. He caught the eye as Trialist B earlier in the earlier in the pre-season. He just gets stronger and stronger as he's getting more games, and he's one, I think, that's an important one to remember. We've only got until New Year and to extend that loan and look possibly for the future.
Goal kick, Dunn will take it. Orient are playing three at the back. Actually, Ellis, Happy and Sendles White. The ball's driven long and holds up in the wind. It's very blustery here, which allows Happy to head it clear. Hurst helps it on. Happy again is there and knocks it into midfield. Kelly is quicker than two men, gets to it. Lovely first touch by Holroyd. Plays a through ball. Masanka won't quite beat the keeper to it. But again, Wrexham much more direct and aggressive in their approach.
Yeah, absolutely. Kelly all involved again. Gets another touch in midfield, this time with the head. Finds Holroyd. Great first touch and controls. Become used to. Tries to play Masanka in, and it's just a bit too much weight on the ball. But as Masanka tries to bustle past the centre half.
Was a ball flicked on by Bocco, too strong, goes all the way through to Dunn. I've used the word direct twice. I'm not meaning we're long ball. What I mean is we are getting the ball forwards through the heart of Orion's defence. That's a great ball down the flank by Hurst. McCraff will use his pace to get there. Hits the goal line. And he just stumbles. That's unfortunate. So I think his best option was to try and hit it in first time, and he wasn't able to do so. Lost his footing, and the ball slid out of play for a goal kick. But yeah, I'm not saying we're going long, but we are getting servicely attacking players in forward positions in a very vertical sense. We're passing early to them.
Yeah, I agree. The description suggests long balls, but it's not. It's just getting that first ball early in behind the defence and causing problems, or at least creating a problem.
As Kelly is unlucky to be penalised, leaning into Bocco. Free kick on the halfway line. So the Orient have definitely got a threat going forward. They've scored 50% more goals than Wrexham this season. But
those 22 other teams in the league, I think.
Fair comment. Trouble for them is that they only Solihull Moors, the bottom side, have let in more than Orient, and they've already let in one today as Ellis is pressured, plays the ball forwards. Caprice can't control that. It'll go for a goal kick to Wrexham. Good work by Holroyd, who charged down the Orient right-sided centre-back, who has got a very... I was like, there's a mask. I thought he had a really elaborate sort of gauze on his face. I'm going to see him close up to see if that actually is a proper mask. It looks very peculiar.
It's plastic covering his nose, I think. I saw him when he came out for the warm-up. But yeah, I think Wrexham with the goal, Leighton Orient have got to come out now, and it changes their game plan straight away, and it hopefully will buy into our time.
Long ball forwards, and Happy heads it in the wrong direction as he jumps with Holroyd. He was lucky that there was cover there to knock it back to the keeper, and so the danger is averted. So the ball dropped onto the floor by Granger, knocks it long. It's headed away well by Hurst though, and will bounce out of play for a throw-in to Orient, 15 yards short of the halfway line. 7th minute here on Calon FM. Wrexham 1, Leighton Orient 0. Wrexham got off to the dream start. 44th second goal by Chris Holroyd as the throw-in is taken, and the referee says that yards were being stolen. I could have sworn that if you steal yards, it's a throw to the other side, but maybe I was wrong. Just as I was wrong about Wedgbury. That was a rant I was planning to have pre-match. I think he's got 4 yellows. I don't think he should be suspended, but he is suspended. Ooh, as Holroyd nearly latched onto that then. Poor touch by Happy. But Holroyd fouled his man as he brought it down.
I think the throw-in rule is very much like the 6-second goalkeeper one. It gets forgotten over time.
Yeah. Orient bring it forwards. Bond is dispossessed easily by Wright and knocked up by Hurst. That's good for Masanka to chase, and he's getting after that. The keeper has to come out of the box to clear it because Masanka had more pace than Sendles White, who wasn't doing a very good job of blocking Masanka off to give the keeper more time either.
No, the keeper seems to have to be dealing with all these. The centre-half don't seem, or the defence so far, don't seem keen on dealing with himself.
Throw-in taken, Masanka to Hurst, a bit of a hot pass that, and it's not an accurate ball forwards. Brophy does well to carry it forwards to the halfway line, and then spreads and tells Caprice is dangerous coming forwards, but the ball skips across him, and when he fails to get a touch, it goes away from him and out for a throw on the halfway line to Wrexham, and that will please them, because just the danger they could have been opened up a little bit there. As it is, Jennings with the ball in his hands and looks for movement, finds Kelly, volleys it over the top. Masanka can't challenge, headed away. Rutherford puts it back in. It's cleared once more, but not accurately. Akil Wright as well to drive it forward. Does he trip by Bocco? He says so, ref says not. Dayton now in the centre circle. Spreads over to the left-hand side, where Brophy squares it on. Westbrook on loan from Brentford. I think it's his first start for Orient in the centre of midfield, anchoring a midfield three. Plays it backwards and Happy dinks it forward. Hurst, good strength, just nudges into Bond and forces an error. Throw into Wrexham off the Orient striker. They're playing essentially three at the back, 3-5-2, with Westbrook anchoring Dayton and Bocco in midfield. Bocco normally plays an attack Masson for a number of years in non-league against Wrexham was the throw-ins taken. The key right one's a good header. Here's McCrath working it into midfield, not the best pass. Masanka stumbles and can't take the ball with him. Hurst snuffs out any danger that Orient will counter-attack. Throw-in to Orient, just shows the halfway on left-hand side. Wrexham may just wish that they could get back on the front foot and start threatening Orient again. It's been a quiet little 5 minutes, which has allowed the away side to try and get a little bit of equilibrium. They've had more of the ball than Wrexham without posing any threat. They're now recirculating it around the back. Sendel's White, the three central defenders, gives it to Happy, and he carries it to the halfway line and beyond. He's got an overlap, plays a neat ball inside instead. Bon can now work it wide now. Brophy can cross, he's got bodies in the area, swings it in. Pearson, very brave head, offside flag anyway. Ball went in eventually, but the whistle had gone before the shot came in.
High foot there as well. I think Pearson gets to the header with the foot, but it'd be a bit harsh if it was given that, but I think, like you said, it was offside.
Yeah, the flag was up very swiftly. It means to see what the referee had done if that offside flag hadn't gone up. I thought maybe Pearson was stooping down, but it's one of those 50-50 ones, that, because the foot was raised as well, wasn't it?
I'd have umbrage if it was given against you, so I can't really claim it. It's one of those, but there's definitely a foot up by Pearson's face.
Hurst dinks it down the line. That's a nice idea. McCrath just hesitates, watching its flight in the air, and as a result he's beaten to it by Sendel's White, but he has to put out a play. Throws to Wrexham, 10 yards out, right hand side. McCrath will wait for Hurst to take it, who has a looping sort of throw. In fact, McCrath decides to throw it back to Hurst to catch Orient out, and he slings the ball in the box. That's Caprice who makes a hash of that at the far post. It carries across to the left wing, but Rutherford keeps it in, pulls it back. Jennings, clever ball around the corner into the box. Kelly left hand side the area, thinks about putting Rutherford clear, hasn't quite got his balance though, so sensibly he hangs on to the ball. Jennings virtually tackles Kelly to take over, and then plays the ball to the edge area, which asks too much of Rutherford, and it's cleared by Caprice. Chest down cleverly by Bon. Now here's Dayton, great tackle by Rice. Referee put the whistle to his lips and then said disadvantage, and the ball is played forwards to Bocco on a centre circle. Nice footwork to make a bit of room. Holroyd holds him up though, and Wrexham got their players back into position now as the ball's fed back into midfield. Westbrook feeds it into the hole where quickly Wrexham swarm and press and force the ball back to the halfway line. Orient trying to be patient, trying to pass their way through. Ball's worked into midfield once more, and ambitious switch towards Caprice. That's a good ball. Chance. Oh, it skipped horribly off the turf. Poor Caprice has had two balls switched to him that look promising, and they've just got away from him. Throw into Wrexham. Bit of a relief though, because that was a chance for him to bring it down and put a cross in.
Yeah, absolutely. Both times the ball's been played to him, he's had a lot of space as well, so it's been an advantage to Wrexham. But you're right, Leyton Orient have not dominated anything in the attacking third, but they've certainly had more possessions into goal, but Wrexham looked comfortable. Yeah, that ball in that we were talking about might have been a high foot, was the only time they really put the ball into Wrexham's box. As Pearson from the throw knocks it forward, Holroyd's taking it out the pitch himself. Throw to Orient, 10 yards into Wrexham's half, right hand side. Remember, use hashtag ASKWXM on Twitter if you want to ask us any questions, or if you want to ask our half-time guest Sam Wedgbury any questions. Throw-in's taken, Jennings heads it away well. Akil Wright squares it on. Holroyd in his own half, spins, he's got movement. Masanka goes down off the ball in collision with Happy. Referee didn't see that. Kelly, that's nice footwork, plays a 1-2 with Holroyd to get him over the halfway, then plays a lovely ball down the left hand side. McCrath is there, only Masanka in the box, so McCrath holds it up, taking on Happy, back onto his right foot, lets Rutherford take over, both wingers on one flank. Rutherford, good ball in. Oh, is Masanka pulled? Well, the cross nearly went in, the corner's given. Masanka and Holroyd think it's a penalty as he threw himself at it. He distracted the keeper, he had to wait to see if Masanka touched it, and once he didn't touch it, he had to dive at full stretch to his left, Granger, to stop the cross from going in. It certainly makes the referee ask a question. For me, not quite, but both players grappling with each other and sort of, I think the ball drifts away with the wind as the wind takes it away from him, and so it made it look worse as they sort of hung in the air falling down. But yeah, good play again by Kelly to release McCrath.
Corner then, which Kelly will take, right hand side, left footed, swings it to the edge of the 6-yard box. Oh, the keeper just grabs it. I really thought that had gone over him then. He got underneath that, and did well to stretch and hold this because the wind was swirling and maybe deceiving him. And now here come Orient on the break. Bocco is held up by McCrath. Good work by McCrath. It spread to the right, and an early cross in as a poor one, intercepted by Wright. Not the best touch by him, but Pearson retreating in midfield tidies up, and then surely he's fouled from behind by Bon. He is. Free kick to Wrexham, which ends a little danger of a breakaway. It was a decent little break as well, wasn't it? And good job for Wrexham, they were able to survive it.
Yeah, absolutely. Akil Wright, what I like about him is he doesn't just boot it from midfield, he does try to bring it down and then play someone on, which created the chance for Kelly to release McCrath, but at times when it doesn't go right at this level, it does leave you vulnerable.
Absolutely. Dunn will take the kick to short the halfway line, drives it to the edge of the area. It's too long. Manny Smith won't keep that in and skips away from him, hits the corner flag and goes out for the goal kick. The sun is bright and it's unreasonably warm, I was going to say. Unseasonably warm is what I'm trying to say here for the end of October.
Yeah, I didn't quite need all the layers I've got on today so far.
Yeah, you're all well wrapped up. I just took the coat off. Tough I am, I tell you.
Normally I'm in the short sleeve shirt, but
you're normally the Sean Pearson of commentary, but not today, I'm afraid. Ball's not long by Granger, and Akil Rice is penalised for climbing on the halfway line. Free kick to Orient. 15th minute here on Calon FM, and it's Wrexham 1, Leyton Orient 0. Chris Holroyd with his third goal for the club in the 44th second of the game. Here, forwards comes the centre-back, Happy, threads a good ball to the edge of the area. Bond does well, he gets beyond Pearson, but Pearson just got a toe to it, and that allows Hurst to come back on the cover and slash it out of play, throw in to Orient, level the edge of the area, left-hand side. But isn't they have shown they've got something going forwards, haven't they? They're able to get at our back four.
Yeah, there's plenty of movement there, and they're looking for each other, but so far, I mean, neither team's dominated in midfield.
Brophy down the flank, early cross, Manny Smith at the near post clears it. Backpedaling, a good flick on by Hurst. Masanka can't latch onto it though, and it goes all the way back to the halfway line, where Sendles Weiss will take a touch for squaring it on. Wrexham press and pressure the centre-back. Sendles White helps it over to Happy on the halfway line, left-hand side. Masanka's chasing very eagerly, trying to force a mistake. Dayton comes back to help out. And now it's Ellis rolling it into the centre of the pitch. Clever ball around the corner by Westbrook, an attempt to put Bond clear by Mooney. Intercepted well. Pearson very calm. Jennings turning to the fence. Masanka running onto that. The keeper comes out the box and will get there first comfortably, but he can't get back into the box with this, and so as Masanka lunges to challenge him, he has to put it out for a throw to Wrexham. It doesn't take much to hurry Orient's defence, you feel. Simple balls around the back. And
simple balls. They panic. They don't turn quickly, do they? And Masanka, although he looks like he's treading water at times when he's going past, they're causing them problems. And it is the sweeper keeper that's having to mop up a lot.
He looks clearly quicker than all three centre-backs, as far as I can see so far. Yeah. He's getting behind them well. As here is Kelly rolling it to Jennings, left-hand side. He dinks a lucky ball at the edge. Yeah, nice idea. Headed up in the air somewhat by Sendles White. Ellis nods it down to the edge of the box. Westbrook gets there first. Another clever ball by him. Dayton digs a good ball to Mooney as well in the centre circle, and he works it backwards. And now Sendles White will feed a clever ball to Bocco. It's good passing by Orient. Bocco with the diagonal. He's looking for Bond, but it's got too much on it. And that's summed up Orient in the opening 16 minutes. Passing it around quite neatly in midfield when it comes to feeding the strikers they've been wanting.
Yeah, I mean, both teams, we said before, no one dominating midfield and having that possession, but when they're in attack, either side, just having enough room just to knock the ball nicely around each other. And yeah, Orient not quite getting that final ball right, was Wrexham are getting telling balls across.
Orient win it back from the throw-in. Westbrook helps it on. Dayton early ball in, that's whipped in with no accuracy. Nice shape on it, but nowhere near the strikers, and it skips through for the goal kick. Westbrook looks interesting. He's holding in midfield. Youngster on loan from Brentford, and he's very, very tidy on the ball. Little balls around the corner. Very neat, just keeps the ball moving. But they're not finding that sort of accuracy when they're getting into the final third.
He's the type of player that'll look good probably on this type of surface, but once you get into the sort of the claggy pitches in the winter and the bigger lads in midfield, maybe not.
Yeah, absolutely. Ball flicked on well by Holroyd from the goal kick, but cleared by Sendles White. Hurst, that's an awkward one. Well, that lets it hit him more than anything else, and it goes in for a brave header with Dayton, who did the same. Neither seemed to make much contact, and Hurst was first to it, fed it forwards, and Holroyd was tripped. I thought for a second we were going to get the first instance I've ever seen of a ball getting burst because it got stuck between two players committing to an aggressive header. Yeah. That'd have been a sight.
It was like both went for a flying headbutt into each other.
Yeah.
But luckily both missed.
Well, Holroyd's got the free kick in midfield. Remember, you can ask us questions on hashtag ASKWXM. You can ask Sam Wedgbury questions for when he comes up at half-time as well. Free kick then. Kelly swings it in towards the penalty spot, and Pearson comes off a defender last, goes just over the bar for the corner. I've got to say, I was watching the box then, and when it came in, they had lost their men Orient badly. And they were lucky that Pearson didn't get a proper contact on it.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think this blustering wind is having some effect on the ball when it's high in the air as well. You can see it sort of, it hovers and floats around a little bit. And Leighton Orient so far not coping with it.
So corner, left-hand side, Rutherford sweeps it in nastily. It's flicked across the face, a goal off the line by Ellis and headed clear. Referee gives a foul on the edge of the area. Jennings got up at the near post, perfect flick header. But unluckily for Wrexham, we pile players on the keeper, so we crowd the 6-yard box. Ellis wasn't on the far post, but he ended up virtually standing on the far post because he was marking up and he was able to head off the line.
Yeah, good run by Jennings. Got to the near post, found the space. Good flick header, did everything you could ask for, and Leighton Orient just lucky they've got someone on that far post. I just said marking.
Yeah, Ellis just jumping and managing to head it away off the line at the far post. And Orient, they look very vulnerable at the back. This from the goal kick, they come forwards. Manny Smith breaks things up, and then Holroyd forces a Westbrook into a backwards header, which picks out a centre-back. Ellis now, the man has just headed it off the line, picks it up in the right-hand side of his own half and drills a flat ball towards Barnwell, intercepted by Akil Wright. He lunged it in front of Barn and deflected it back to his keeper. Dunn quickly balls it out to Hurst because Wrexham want to get at Orient again. Hurst feeds it forwards. Masanka backpedals, goes beyond all of them. Holroyd chases, but it bounces through to the keeper. The wind is causing problems, isn't it? It's gusting around. Hard to judge its flight in the air. It's Granger. He throws it out to Westbrook again. A neat little distribution by him. He used to the National League's Claude Makalele. Ball not long. Manny Smith attacks it, beaten well in the air by Bonner. Here's danger. Dayton. Oh, his first touch let him down. He left the ball behind him. He's retreated and got it, but now they're going to have to work it again. 25 yards out. Dayton trying to go around the outside of Akil Wright. Chips it in cleverly to the near post. There's no flag, but Mooney has to go away from goal. Pulls back to the edge of the area where Brophy's first touch takes him away from goal, but he accelerates well and is tackled well by Hurst. But we allowed too much space on the edge of our box there, didn't we?
Yeah, there was almost like the sort of a five-a-side game, when you play the possession game in the warm-ups and they're just knocking the little balls around the corner. Clever little play and intricate by Leighton Orient, but not quite getting enough. Just the final ball, luckily for Wrexham. Yeah, they've done their rondos, haven't they, Orient, but didn't finally manage the final ball in. They've left one-on-one marking in the halfway at the moment as the ball swept in under the bar and swirls around, goes beyond everyone, driven back in and straight header off the line, and then it comes back in. Dunn saves it. Oh, Wrexham were fortunate then. The ball hit in, I think, by Ellis, and it was, was it Kelly heading it off the line? Yeah, Kelly off the line. Two great chances from Leighton Orient there, and luckily for Wrexham, right in the right place. Kelly on the line, heads it away, and the header falls straight to the Leighton Orient player, and he heads it straight into the arms of Waiting Dunn. But Wrexham just testing their luck a little bit. That was very lucky. Kelly did brilliantly to head it off the line in the first case. I think Ellis, who swung a foot at the ball, it hung in the air, and then the header went straight to Mooney 6 yards out. He planted a header straight back in on goal, but too close to Dunn, who showed good hands to react and hold on to it. And Wrexham, well, just shown that when you're on top and creating chances, you need to put them away. Orient looked there for the taking, but Wrexham have got to get a second goal. Long ball by Manny Smith. Masanka can't win it, but he forces a poor header. Rutherford scurrying forwards. He's not got much inside him. Masanka's gone outside, plays a good ball to the edge of the D. Holroyd will hit this, drives it, puts it over. Puts under good pressure there. Dayton lunged into just a challenge and make him rush the shot, didn't he? Yeah, it was a right ball. Masanka had made a good run to take the defenders away from Rutherford, but nothing opened up, unfortunately, for him, and the defence closed down. Forced to go back to Holroyd, who pulled out nicely to give himself some space. Yeah, as you're right, Dayton came in close and puts pressure on, couldn't quite get the shot away, but didn't quite get the contact he wanted. Goal kick, Granger takes, driving it through the middle. Hurst attacks it as it dies in the wind, goes up in the air. Akil Wright helps it on. Loose header by Happy under pressure from Holroyd, but Orient win it back and can break here. Dayton surging through the middle. He's been lively on. Kelly slides in, and the referee plays advantage. Moore plays to the left-hand side. Bond slings across it. It's in! That was a cross, surely. He picked up the left side of the box and just slung it in. It went over Dunn and into the top right corner. And I'm not convinced that he meant that. I think that's a cross which he's hit into over the keeper and in. I'd like to see that one again, because I'm not sure why Chris Dunn, he just leaves it, but I don't know if he's fooled by the flight of the ball, or he looked like he had it covered, but I don't know what's gone on there. And Leighton Orient players run over to the manager and all have a big group hug. So it's been coming, they were lucky, fortunate 2-3 minutes ago. Wrexham haven't pushed on since scoring the goal. They've looked dangerous attacking when they've come forward with the ball and created some chances. We've not dominated any possession in midfield and really put any authority on the game, which is a pity, really, because from that start, it's a waste.
Yeah, Wrexham's looking, like I said, haven't imposed on the midfield. Orients have an extra man in the middle of the pitch. To Seneca, and there might be a counter argument to starting Kelly in the centre if we don't hold on to, if we don't grab with them game in the middle of the pitch. Anyway, that I'm sure a fluke. Let's put Orient back again. It's a blustery day. Dunn stuck a hand up at it. I can't help thinking it was just a mishit cross which went into that perfect postage stamp in the far top post and corner. Not sure much Dunn could do about it. Wrexham have it back now, and Jennings was caught late from behind there by Bocco. Referee's not interested. Pearson stands the ball up through the middle, headed away by Westbrook. There's Keel Wright judging it well in the air. Masanka nods it down, can't find Holroyd. It deflects away from him and falls for Dayton. He's been very lively early on and had that breakaway to set up the goal. Ref played a good advantage to allow Dayton to carry on as well and work it to the scorer Bon. Early ball into the Wrexham box. Pearson backpedaling, heads it away. Drops on the corner of the box. Hurst brings it down his chest and hooks it over his shoulder. Throw in to Orient. About 15 yards into Wrexham's half, left-hand side, and changes the complexion of it. I must be honest, when a team down in their luck let a goal after 44 seconds, I thought they might roll over.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's where you want to push. And you've mentioned it in commentary that Wrexham haven't taken the game by the scruff of the neck and gone forward and driven and really gone for the jugular, which they had the opportunity to do so.
Ball into Wrexham's box, overhit. Bon was after it, but Dunn raced off his line to grab hold of it. Balls it quickly to Jennings on the left. Now Wrexham needs to bounce back from that, as they need to bounce back from Tuesday. Ball works inside for Kelly. Jennings again, deep in his own half. Rolls it forward. Nice ball to Masanka. Has good movement off Masanka as well. He feeds it back to Kelly. There's Gaboon down the flank. Kelly goes in the other direction though to Hurst on the halfway line. He strides forwards. McCrath offers, pops it back to Hurst. It's not the best pass to Hurst. He's done well to lift her over the top, and Masanka is chasing this and will get there ahead of his man by the corner flag. Awkward bouncing ball. He's won the corner. Good work there by Masanka. It wasn't the most encouraging ball to chase.
No, it was good work. Hurst does play those sort of traditional sort of National League type balls. They just launch it forward and get into the space and allow the striker to go forward. And it does work, and Masanka's done well to get the corner there. McCrath, a little bit anonymous at times, and put Hurst under pressure in the original bit with a poor back pass.
Absolutely right. Corner which Kelly will take from the right hand side. Yeah, Hurst, as you say, is National League type passing. Strange with his pedigree as a young player in the Premier League. But he is a very National League type of fullback, isn't he?
He's obviously got talent and obviously got an ability to play, but his passing range is very National League. That, whether that's just the way he's been playing and he's used to it and he knows how to play it, and it's clever if that's the case.
Now here's a corner from Kelly. There's been one false start as the referee looks at some shirt pulling. Kelly swings it in. Pearson gets up, heads it just wide. Oh, he thought he'd scored. He's holding his head in his hands. He got up 7 yards out at the far post, made a good contact, and puts it inches wide at the left post. That was a real chance.
Yeah, a real chance. Just possibly a little behind him as he was stretching backwards. And that's why he couldn't quite get the angle on it and put it into the side net and rather into the near post.
Orient lucky to survive that. These corners from Kelly are causing them problems, but it's still Wrexham 1, Leyton Orient 1, 27th minute. Remember, you can use hashtag AskWXM, ask Wrexham to ask us questions, or ask Sam Wedgbury, our half-time guest, any questions. As in midfield, Dayton has it. He's got an overlap and he plays it cleverly. Brophy now, chance to cross. Takes on and beats McCrath instead and drives into the area dangerously, pulls it back, and Bocco drives it over the bar. That was a chance. The pass was just behind him, and in the D, he dug it out and put it over. That was an opportunity.
Yeah, I'm just thinking both attacks have come down the left-hand side, or the dangerous attacks have come down the left-hand side for Leyton Orient, which is where Rutherford would normally be covering. He does a lot of work for the fullback. So McCrath really needs to, although he has put a couple of tackles in, he really needs to pay attention to covering his fullback there, because Hurst has been left exposed a little bit.
I'm wondering about this make-up. Long ball forward to Masanka's chasing this and nearly gets there. It's just squeezed back to the keeper by Sendel's wide. Again, Masanka's pace nearly making something of just a straight ball through the middle, held up in the wind. I've just got concerns. I know all season lots of people have been arguing for the more creative looking midfield. We've got it now and we look more vulnerable. And I'm afraid you can't have one without the other. And I can understand why Keats was not that keen to make these changes, because Orient are dominating the middle of the pitch and are getting at us down the flanks. Here's Orient building through midfield. Westbrook threads a good ball to the edge of the area. Bon just releases it back. Long range shot comes in from Mooney and it goes wide. Took a deflection, mind. Corner, right hand side. And Wrexham will have to dig in once more. as Bocco goes across to take it. The Orient fans in good voice. There's decent following from Orient. Bocco spots her up. Wrexham leave Masanka up front. Orient tend to leave one man marking when another screening in front. It's a dangerous game, and clearly Masanka's got the pace to get in behind them. Anyway, here comes the corner. Bocco swings it in. Referee has stopped play because Sendel's white has gone down. I think he's arguing he should have a penalty, which the referee is not going to allow because he's going to say the ball hadn't been kicked in. And there's going to be a retake of the corner, I would assume. Dayton is grumbling away, but the ball's returned back to the corner. Bocco will spot it up. Orient have got a man on done and a man in beyond the far post. The rest lining up on the edge of the area. Wrexham going man for man. Bocco swings it in. Easy header clear for Hurst. Backing in, Westbrook nods to the edge of the area. Jennings intercepts. Can he release early? No, because he's fouled by Bonn. That's the second time he's fouled a player from behind. Ref doesn't take any action. Pearson takes a quick diagonal on the free kick. McCrath loses out in the air. Westbrook tackled by Holroyd, but the ball will dribble out of play for a throw to short the halfway line to Orient.
Just going back to your midfield point, I think Akil Wright and Kelly, for me, are good. The attacking play has been obvious. Kelly's had the time and space and been allowed to feed the balls through. Even if we didn't have that combination midfield, I don't think we, even with Wedgbury or Carrington, whoever, we don't really dominate midfield anyway. So true. I think this game would bypass regardless of the personnel of where we go. But it is worrying that, for me, we're getting caught out of the fullbacks, and that's where Rutherford does so well, and Kelly, but we are then narrow.
But that's it, isn't it? Kelly is a wide midfielder, Rutherford on the other side. You got total coverage. McCrath is quick and works hard coming back, but he's not the best defensively, as he saw when Brophy got him isolated, cut inside and teed up a chance for Bocco a couple of minutes ago. Here is Kelly in the middle of the pitch. Pearson receives it from him on the edge of the area. Wrexham players on the shoulder of the last defender, but Pearson's pass is inaccurate. Ellis thumps it back to Jennings on the halfway line. McCrath's gone over the top, so is Masanka, and Jennings looks at Masanka. The keeper again has come out the box and just beats Masanka to it. We keep using that, and you get encouraged that we might get that right one time.
Yeah, I mean, again, Leyton Orient are constantly relying on that sweeper keeper system, and one time it's going to hold up in that wind, and Masanka's going to get there, and there'll be a chip on into an empty net. But you know, Wrexham have got to keep plugging away. Attacking wise, we're asking questions. It's just sure enough that midfield in the wide areas.
Throw in taken, Akil Wright, good strength. Dayton's pulling his shirt, good vision. Works it to Hurst, slightly under hit on Hurst. Pass is poor. He rushed it much more than he needs to, but Holroyd's done really well. He tackles Westbrook again. Rutherford can't find him, and Westbrook, good footwork on the edge of his area to get out of trouble. Then a bad ball gives it to Jennings. Awkward one for Rutherford to control. Plays it up down the flank. Jennings can't quite keep it in though. That's unfortunate. It was all desperate and on the stretch, that wasn't it really?
Yeah, it's a little bit two players in the same space and just caused each other problems. But Wrexham are working hard off the ball, and it's paying off. But it's in the final third of Leyton Orient's, Leyton Orient's pitch area rather than in that midfield battle and dominating the game.
Throw in, level the edge of the Orient area, which Ellis propels a long way down the line, straight to Pearson. He helps it forwards. Holroyd helps it on. Ellis heads into midfield once more, where Kelly gets up and misjudges his jump and tries an unorthodox attempt to win it back, which fails. Mooney helps it on. Hurst clears. Holroyd, good strength, backs into Westbrook and buys the free kick. You could see Holroyd doing that in installments, couldn't you, to buy the free kick?
Yeah, absolutely. And he's looked who he's against. It's Westbrook. He's a little bit naive as a youngster, perhaps, and Holroyd's taking full advantage.
They had a good scrap those through the last 5 minutes. Holroyd dropping off Masanka and getting into Westbrook's area, and Holroyd's had the better of him. Westbrook's made more mistakes in the last 5 minutes than he has in the previous, 26.
Yeah, well, that's probably good. It's to put the pressure on and help our midfield, perhaps.
Kelly slings the free kick in straight down the keeper's throat. Granger up to the edge of the box, throws an early one looking for Bocco. That's a good idea, and he's got movement ahead of him. Caprice on the halfway line. Just got two men to beat. He tries to knock it beyond Jennings to do him for pace, but Kelly's on the cover and back peels it cutely beyond Caprice, back to Jennings. That was nice, cool play by Kelly. But you can see Caprice's pace there as he bursts past Jennings. Now he's got three runners over the top. He flips it over, looking for Holroyd and from McCrath. The flag goes up. I'm not sure about that. Firstly, Jennings could have played it a bit earlier. There were three Wrexham players looking to burst behind a very high back line. Rutherford stopped his run because he knew he'd gone off. I'm not convinced McCrath and Holroyd were off necessarily, and there's a committee of Wrexham players surrounding the ref now.
Yeah, Rutherford was 10 yards offside, but knew it. So and he'd made the run waiting for Jennings when the ball should have been played. Jennings held on to it. Rutherford had to track his run. But McCrath and Holroyd both came from onside positions behind the defenders. They weren't offside in the first place and coming back. So I don't know where he's got that from. Strange decision, because Wrexham were 2 players behind the defence.
So there were 2 players on the keeper. But the flag went up. Kick taken. Pearson heads it away. It's picked up in midfield by Bocco. Rutherford steps off and runs. Allows Bocco over a space, but Holroyd closed and done. It's forced back to the halfway line. But Orient again have comfortable possession as Mooney drops off to link play and spreads to Brophy, left-hand side. Works it in. Oh, good tackle by Akil Wright. He's been lively early on. Kelly just hesitating, waiting for players to get into positions, and Mooney comes and picks his pocket, and the crowd aren't happy with that. But I can see why Kelly didn't want to commit to the pass too early, because there weren't many options ahead of him. The ball's worked back to Westbrook on the halfway line. Masanka pressures him. So it's going back again into the Orient half. But again, Orient have got the extra man in the middle of the pitch, and they're just working it around. Spread over to the left-hand side. Happy, the centre-back. Carries to the halfway line. Rolls it into midfield. Dayton turns neatly to find a bit of space. He's come narrow now. He can switch perhaps to Caprice. So he goes inside one to Bocco. And again, Orient monopolising possession. They've had the ball for a good minute here. Ambitious ball by Ellis is a good one as well. Finds Brophy. Just finding these angles, the extra space in midfield. Brophy's early ball forwards forces Manny Smith to put it out of play for a throw, level edge of the area. Left-hand side. It'll be taken by Brophy. Throw-in taken short, and cute little ball in. Looking for Dayton. Good tackle by Akil Wright, but it comes out to Brophy, level the edge of the area once more. Taking on McCrath, who wants to show him inside. He goes down the outside of McCrath, much too easily. Drives in the near post. Manny Smith again gets it clear, but again it'll come back in once more. Dayton, corner of the box, looking to go around the outside of Akil Wright. Swings the ball over, and it goes behind for the goal kick. Don't look nervous then. That was very similar to that mishit cross that went in, wasn't it?
Yeah, I wasn't taking a chance on that one, making sure he's got that one covered. Just listening to the commentator to my right, the Leyton Orient commentator for the BBC, he's just had this is the best performance he's seen in Leyton Orient this season so far. So just sort of shows you the level that perhaps they're playing against us, because they don't look the best team I've seen here, but
no.
They're certainly asking questions.
Well, like I said, I've looked at the last few matches, and certainly a step up from that. Although they're not bad going forwards, it's just they're bad defensively, and they look pretty bad defensively today when they've been exposed, as they're winning it back. They got the extra man in midfield is causing Wrexham problems, plus the fact that McCrath can't stop players getting past him, as they've won it back straight away in midfield. And once they get the ball down like this, they've always got a passing option, they've always got a man free, and if they're patient, they can work it around the middle of the pitch. Ball spread by the keeper and helped on by Brophy, out for a throw to Wrexham. But they've always got those options. The wing backs stay high up and give them the angles out wide,
which in a turn, once we do break up play, allows those balls behind to test them. So we're getting the advantage of those balls. We're not quite getting the exact power on the pace on the ball, but yeah, you're right, they've always got the man option. We've just need to on the break, which is slightly strange. We're not getting the ball down to feet to McCrath, who should be able to run at the centre backs then, because he shouldn't have any cover.
We'd want to get around the sides of them. When Orient have played free at the back, well, they did it for 14 minutes on the Tuesday and abandoned it because they were so vulnerable down the flanks. We've just been ripped open down the wings, and Wrexham would be disappointed. Obviously, they've seen that and thought, let's exploit it with the two wingers, but Wrexham haven't really exploited that enough, as the ball is won back well by Masanka in midfield. He's got very few options. He plays it back, and it's neatly worked inside by Rutherford, who has switched flanks with McCrath. That might not be a bad idea to cut off what James is referring to, because Brophy's getting a free rein down the wing. Let's see if Caprice can now break beyond McCrath, as Jennings tries to thread it behind the defence. Ellis interceptor with two runners either side there. Jennings miscontrols, but it spins off Bocco to Pearson. 38th minute here on Calon FM. It's Wrexham 1, Leyton Orient 1. Good ball by Pearson to Hurst. Hurst plays it around the back of the defence. Rutherford sprinting after it. Good pace by Brophy. Rutherford slides to ground and puts it out for the goal kick. Couldn't quite get enough on it to knock it onto Brophy.
Yeah, you've just alluded to the switch. That's the ball you want to play from McCrath all day.
Yeah.
His base gets it. He takes it into the byline, and Wrexham's goal.
You're absolutely right. It was a shame that, wasn't it? But it'd be interesting to see. Like I said, Rutherford hopefully will be able to deal with Brophy's overlaps. But by the same token, Caprice on the right, as I said earlier, is a very dangerous attacking player. Can McCrath keep with him? He might be able to keep with him for pace, which is something, because Caprice loves to get the ball out from his feet, knock it in front of him and chase. Goal kick taken. Hurst wins an aggressive header. Masanka can't get beat Ellis to it though. Knocked over the top of Wrexham's defence. Pearson heads it clear in the centre circle. Rutherford brings it down nicely. Good ball back to Jennings. Squared it onto Kelly in his own half. Kelly finds his full back once more, and Kelly spots a good ball by Jennings. Masanka turns, he runs up the whole right through, it's blocked, but he's got a second chance, and he's not played such a good ball that time. Intercepted easily by Sendles White. And spread over to the left-hand side, where Brophy can start another attack just short of the halfway line. Remember, the Twitter hashtag ASKWXM, if you want to ask Sam Wedgbury a question, or if you want to ask us any questions about how the game's going. Ball is at the back with Sendles White once more. 6.5 minutes of the break here on Calon FM. It's still Wrexham 1, Leyton Orient 1. Westbrook and his centre-backs forming a little quadrilateral in their own half, working it around now. They feed it on to Bonn, who drops off, and he helps it on much too easily behind the Wrexham midfield. Picked up by Dayton, who spreads to the left-hand side. Brophy's got a player in the box to aim for, tries the early cross. Hurst blocks it, throwing to Orient, 15 yards into Wrexham's half, left-hand side. It'll be taken by Brophy once more. He's got Westbrook offering a midfield. Down the line is Bonn. So no great rush. Brophy throws it to the feet of Bonn, who backs into Hurst. Hurst pulls him down. Oh, silly. What an unnecessary free kick to give away, James.
Yeah, there's no need for that. And the player's going nowhere, and basically they've now got a free kick level of the 18-yard box, so they can load the box in and launch in. We know this wind's causing problems with the balls in, so Hurst just stand up his man. He's going nowhere, and just recycle play from that point.
No need for that. Just tugged his shirt, and now the three centre-backs and Mooney are all big aerial targets. Bond's pretty big as well. They've got a height advantage, Orient, in there. Referee is watching carefully. Last two set pieces, one in each box. The referee stopped things and talked about shirt tugging. He's now happy. There's lots of movement in there. It's full in flat though, and Holroyd clears it, and an attempt by Westbrook to shoot slices it up in the air. In fact, it may drop loose in the penalty area. It's such a poor shot. It does it. Slashes behind for a goal kick. That could have been a corner. Jennings was wrestling away with his man Forrest. But yeah, like you said, with this blustery wind, which seems to die down a little bit, it's tricky to defend set pieces, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Wrexham don't need to be getting the ball into the box, where so far we've struggled to deal with anything, whether it's because of the wind or whether Pearson and Manny Smith generally are pretty good as the ball directly to him, but from the width we seem to be struggling to clear it. Dunn never really fills me with confidence coming for crosses anyway. So why give yourself the opportunity for the team to do so?
Dunn hits it long. Holroyd beaten in the air by Happy. Rutherford brings down nicely. He's still over on the right-hand side. Hurst picks it up. There's a good ball around the side. Masanka, level edge of the area, runs onto it. Right-hand side, takes on his man, drills a flat near post cross. It's cleared. Kelly, edge of the D, thinks about the shot, doesn't sit down for him though. So he carries it out wide. Plays it back to Hurst. Hurst stands it up into the box, and there's too much height there. Poor header by Ellis. So Jennings on the edge of the area, takes it on his chest, turns it back inside onto his right foot. He's looking for angles, for options. Not much movement for him at all. So in the end, he has to work it over to Hurst. He might try a shot here. Cuts onto his left foot. Drills it at 25 yards. A good save by the keeper. Look down to his left. Clean strike that by Hurst. Again, he's no nonsense footballer. Hurst hit it well enough for the keeper down to save.
Yeah, scored a lot of goals as well in his attacking positions when he's played there, so we know he can hit them.
On his left foot as well. The keeper got down well. Save it. Granger then knocks it long. Pearson heads it into the middle of the pitch. Ellis is there, heads it clear. Oh, Jennings misjudges, goes over his head. Pearson, Bond just gets a toe to it ahead of him, but Pearson still has the strength to hold him off, and now he's by the corner flag. Scoops a clearance. Bocco gets ahead to it and puts it in towards the edge of the area. Manny Smith wins the header. It comes back out to Bocco, who works it back into midfield. Ball spread over to the left-hand side, and it's picked up by Brophy. Inside one to Dayton. Dayton goes round the outside of a heel right rather easily, swings it all. An easy take for Dunn. It's Spartan Bank asking us on hashtag ASKWXM, was it a Dunn mistake? If so, is it time for Dibble next game?
Until you've seen that back on the replay from the angle we are, you really can tell them. The highlights camera should get it because it's on the right, it's on the angle that the cross come in from, so I'll hold back judgment, but Dibble certainly did him no harm in his performances when he did get the chance earlier in the season.
I suspect the highlights will show it was just a mishit cross that got caught in the wind and Dunn couldn't reach it. I suspect. Having said that, I don't think Dunn did very well with the first field goal on Tuesday as Masanka tries to thread the through ball for Rutherford. He's unlucky, just about intercepted by Happy, and the ball's turned over the top of Wrexham's defence. Manny Smith as well calmly gets to it and helps it around the corner to Hurst. 2 minutes left of the half here on Calon FM. Still 1-1. Good work by Masanka. Good pace to get that header Happy. He's under pressure and he backfields it off his man for the corner. That's good play, isn't it, by Masanka?
Yeah, he's working hard, Masanka. Still doesn't cause a lot of threat, but he's working hard and he's causing defence issues. And his first touch today is coming off for him. So, yeah, fair play. He's putting a shift in. As much as I hate to say, I think it's a Reed type game today. I think he'd do well against his defence.
Yeah, I think that's true. 90 seconds left of the half. Wrexham have a corner. Just seen Carl Connolly walk down the steps in front of us. Oh, wouldn't mind having him back in his peak. Kelly steps up in swinger towards the near post. Dangerous headed partly away by Sendles twice, and then Jennings tries to get a foot in. Bocco's done well to stretch around him and get it clear. Hurst just lumps it back into the mix. Manny Smith looks offside. His header bounces through to the keeper anyway. It wasn't offside. He jumped and just tried to flick it back in and got too much on it. And for a moment again, the keeper just looked like he might have got underneath it for a second. I thought he'd misjudged it, but he held on to it comfortably enough.
Yeah, I'm not sure how Manny Smith is an offside there when he's coming back from an offside position when the ball... And before, when Holroyd and McGrath make that run, strange decision from the system.
They were given when they clearly weren't, it seemed to us. Ooh, the wind again holds that ball up, and the keeper's kick out of his hands doesn't reach the halfway line. Ellis uses his size to help it on. Jennings now crosses the halfway line, left-hand side, inside to Kelly. Kelly thinks about the return pass, goes back to Pearson. 30 seconds left plus added time in this half as Pearson thinks it over the top looking for the pace of Rutherford. Nice idea. Brophy tracked him well and headed it clear on the edge of the area, and it's hacked away. The wind holds the ball up and that helps Bond to work it back into midfield. Dayton has got a runner over the top. He carries it narrow instead. 30 yards out, the switches on to Caprice, but instead Dayton slows it down and threads it in looking for Bond, and that's overhit and he'll roll harmlessly out for the goal kick. Dayton, I thought, had a few options which he chose not to use there.
Yeah, there's a couple of times he's had better options and not gone for him, but yeah, you want to see Wrexham's defence, as much as it's been our strong point this season, has looked vulnerable, and whether that's because we're not having the shield of a Wedgby or a Carrington type. So I guess sometimes it's what you wish for is not always what you need.
Yeah, the balance isn't quite right for me in the middle of the pitch. As Dunn hits it left-footed, he's looking in the air for Holroyd. Again, the wind takes it, goes beyond him, and it's headed away to Hurst. He just launches it back over the top. Ellis again misjudges it in the wind. Caprice just about beats McCrath to it and clears into midfield. Jennings hits it into the groin of Bocco, and he manages to wrestle his way past him. Swings the ball into the edge of the area. Sendles White heads it away. Akeel Wright gets up and scraps with Dayton. It's a good scrap, and Dayton in the end buys the free kick. Akeel Wright put his hands on him, and Dayton wasn't daft. He realised that was a chance to release the pressure and probably take us through to the half-time. We've nearly played the added minute now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Wrexham, they can't really be pleased with the start, but I don't think we've not pushed on and not done what we want. Leighton Orient are going to be the far the happier side going into half-time, but Wrexham have now got a chance to go and address the shape as the half-time whistle goes.
Absolutely. Half-time score here at the racecourse is Wrexham 1, Leighton Orient 1.
I'm Marcus Kelly. Follow Wrexham AFC on Calon FM.
You're listening to Wrexham Football Club commentary live on Calon FM, brought to you by the Wrexham AFC media team. Every kick, every goal, every moment, home and away. Coming up next, half-time match analysis followed by the second half of today's game. Follow all of the action live and exclusive here on Calon FM. Listen on 105 FM, online at calonfm.com or via the TuneIn radio app. Follow us on Twitter at CalonFM and at Commentary WAFC. Wrexham AFC on Calon FM. Whenever, wherever.
Calon FM.
So the half-time score is Wrexham 1, Leighton Orient 1, and Wrexham, after taking the 44th second lead, will be highly, highly frustrated not to have capitalised further, as See, Sam Wedgbury will be joining us in a moment, so any questions you want to throw to us, use the hashtag on Twitter, hashtag AskWrexham, that's hashtag ASKWXM, and we'll pass your questions on to him, as long as they're decent, of course. I mean, decent in the... Careful how I put that now. Uncensored sense. Wrexham frustrated then. I mean, it's a positive start, but I wonder if it's good to get in now and just remind the players of what they're looking to achieve, because it was very obvious early on we were trying to get at Orient's defence and we were causing them problems, but as the half wore on, the fact that we were unable to get that grip of possession meant that we continuously struggled to do so, didn't we?
Yeah, absolutely. Dream start, and what you want straight away, get the fans right on side, get the goal, and it just never capitalised, and that's the problem.
James will chat to you.
We never dominated in midfield. We create chances, we asked some questions, but never really got going, and it's a pity, because from the start you want, when we're not scoring a lot of goals, we got that first goal away, and yeah, Leyton Orient deserved their equaliser.
Well, I'm glad to say that Sam has joined us here, and so, like I said, firstly, the questions coming on hashtag ASKWXM, but James in a second now will be having a chat with Sam Wedgbury about life at the racecourse and all things in general.
I'm Paul Rutherford. Follow Wrexham AFC on Calon FM.
Well, Sam, thanks for joining us. Unfortunately suspended today, but gives us the opportunity to catch up instead of a post-match interview.
Yeah. Obviously disappointing to be suspended, but probably a bit of stupidity from myself, where I've been booked at points in the season where I probably shouldn't have, and looking forward to getting back into it next, Chester hopefully.
Yeah, the derby coming up soon, and all Wrexham fans will be keen for that one as well Chester fans. But first game without the bubble, and we'll see how that one goes. But I think we were talking in commentary earlier, the suspension, a bit of a double jeopardy, because you got your red card, but they seem to have counted for the 2 yellows, but they seem to have counted the yellow on top of it. So we're trying to work out how many yellow cards you've got, but obviously you bit the 5 match, and that double yellow obviously equals the red, so a bit of a strange one.
Yeah, it is, yeah. I didn't even really know till this morning that I couldn't play, so I was trying to work it out, and then I spoke to the gaffer this morning, and he's like, yeah, did you not know you were suspended? So I was like, no, I've done everything, tried to work it out, cancel cards off and all sorts, but it's, like I say, it's disappointing to miss out, but hopefully we'll get the win today.
And your assessment so far, the first half?
Yeah, we get the goal early on. We look comfortable up until that. They're having possession, building up from the back, but it's not really hurting us, and then obviously the goal kills us a little bit, which I think Dunny obviously just misjudged it. So yeah, we're comfortable for most of the half. We're coming at 1-0, and then you're saying we're comfortable, but obviously at 1-1 now they've had a bit of possession, so it looks like they've probably been the better team, but they haven't.
Yeah, they've probably had a little bit more possession in the spare man with the formation they're playing, but it's allowed us on the counter-attack to cause them some problems. Masanka's been running in behind quite well, and him and Chris Allred are linked, and it's an attacking lineup for Wrexham today, I suppose, with a midfield. We're not having yourself or Carrington in there sort of shielding a little bit, but so far, yeah, it's a frustrating one when you go 1-0 up and at home, and hopefully you can push on. But yeah, Leyton Orient, credit to him. But second half, what do you think Dean will be saying to the boys?
Yeah, get at him. I think obviously at times where we have got down the sides of him and been a little bit direct, it shows you get chances, and I think set pieces and that, they look a little bit shaky, so fingers crossed second half we can put some more balls in the box and threaten their back three a little bit.
Yeah. So, Sam Wedgbury then, talk us through life as a footballer and how you started and where you've come from.
I was Sunday League all the way up until I was 16 years of age. I just played for my local team, local districts and stuff. So, and then when I was 16, I got a trial at Worcester City, who were in the Conference North at the time, but they did a full-time college programme, a little bit similar to what we do here, but wasn't getting paid. So I did a sports science course, and then I managed to get into the first team at Worcester after about 2 months to do my college course, and then got my debut in the FA Cup and scored on my debut, and then it just rocketed from there really. Ended up in the January then going to Sheffield United, where I was lucky to be for 5 years and had a great time there, developed my game as much as I could. Obviously coming from Sunday League, it was a lot different to what I was used to, but I've probably done it the hard way.
Yeah, it was a big step up, and I suppose it's that you get to appreciate, sort of talking like the Jamie Vardy series that's just been on and stuff like that. You've done the working thing. You're not sure if football's going to be there, and then suddenly you've got an opportunity to make a career of it, and you've also got your college course to fall back on. But that experience and the different clubs you've seen, and you're a combative midfielder who likes to win. Is that your best trait, do you think? Or
it can be my best and my worst at the same time, because I take defeat really, really, really bad. Like Tuesday night, obviously I can't have any effect today, so it's been on my mind all week. I don't sleep after games, we lose and stuff, but I presume a lot of the lads are like that, but it does hurt me, and that's what we're trying to drill in at the club. We've got a lot of lads that have done a lot of winning at this level and had playoff pushes, and I've been involved in the playoffs the last 3 years at this level. Shawnee, when he was here, the same, and Kels, you got JJ's had promotions at this level, so we know how to win games and we know what the level's about. So
I mean, Dean said he wanted to get characters in the building pre-season. He's certainly done that. You're one of them. I know the first time I met you was the whitewater rafting and you had the Superman suit on. You're that sort of you're quite quiet off the pitch at times, which surprises me, but on the pitch and amongst the lads in the changing room, you can really see you come alive, and you're that spark that sort of generates some, the banter, I suppose.
You got to come in, you got to enjoy it, haven't you? We're fortunate to do what we do. Obviously when we don't play well, such as Tuesday and stuff, and obviously people are free to voice their opinions about what it's about, but when we come in, you've got to make it enjoyable, because we won't be able to do it forever. I'm 28 now, 29 in February. I've probably got 3-4 good years left in myself, and I want to enjoy them, and what better club to be at to do that with the fans and what we're about and the way the gaffer is. But the lads know, like, I'm all for them, and most of the lads in the dressing room, we've got a real good bunch this year, and it's probably the best dressing room I've ever been involved in, which I'm really, really happy about. Even though, like last year, I was fortunate enough to get promoted, but the dressing room this year is a lot stronger. We've got a lot better characters, and we've got a good togetherness.
Yeah, it's important, and you mentioned the ups and downs, and that's, the fans pay their money, and everyone's going to have opinions in football, and it's one of those jobs as a footballer, I suppose, that you're open to criticism, but you're open to praise, and you get both in bucketfuls depending on results. And I think on the whole, it's been a positive experience. And what was it like for you? Signed for Wrexham. I suppose you get to Portugal, and there's sort of 600 fans out there. What's that as a sort of? What sort of club am I at? You're not quite expecting that at a conference football club.
No, so surreal. Like I say, we're at a massive football club at this level, and obviously that the supporters here have seen a lot of the good times over the years, and we want to bring them back. So obviously they support us every week. They get behind us, like Tuesday night, come in their hundreds again, and we want to bring them good memories, and hopefully we can do that this season. But like you say, I think it's part and parcel of being at a massive club at this level, and if there wasn't the expectation here, then the club would be on its way out, wouldn't it? And the fans have obviously fought to save the club in the past, and everyone cares so much about the place that they want to see us winning on the pitch.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Wrexham fans, as all football fans of their clubs, but I think Wrexham particularly, they've gone through a lot in recent history with all the different ownership and stuff like that, and I think it's time that Wrexham fans want to see that climb back up the league and really be challenging. And the league there this year is so open, everyone's beating each other. It must be, you come in after a defeat against Fylde on Tuesday thinking, must have dropped down a few places, and you find yourself, you're still third, you're still 3 points behind. It's not, it could have been so much worse.
Yeah, it could have. Everyone is beating everyone. We just got to go about our business. But I think Tuesday night was obviously a wake-up call that, listen, you're not just going to turn up and beat teams on the night, and that's what we've got to instill, that mentality. We're going to have to go away to places and scrap results out, whether it's not the prettiest of football, like the game before Dagenham where we'll get the 1-0 win, and it's no game's going to be easy at this level. But like I say, going back to it, if there wasn't the expectation there is here, then obviously we wouldn't all be doing what we're doing on the pitch, fighting tooth and nail to get us up that league.
I mean, that's part of it. It's like you said, the character of the players wanting to win, but also that desire of the fans. Does it rub off on you as a player? Can you feel the intensity? You know what is expected, or what not expected, but what's hoped?
Yeah. The first game of the season here, we had over 6,000 here, and that's when you realise, wow, we can get some good results this season and get near the top of the league. We can get most of the fans back on side what have been missing. So there is that potential here, and that's the reason why I signed.
Yeah. You mentioned at the start about Chester coming up, and you'll be returning hopefully to the side. Obviously, under Marcus, Chester's results have, improved recently. With a derby, it's always going to be a tough game. Last year saw a couple of, a 0-0 boring draw here at the racecourse, and then a bit of a feisty encounter with a bit of aftermath at the end. How do you think it's going to play out on this derby?
It'll be a feisty derby again. Like I say, we're fortunate enough. We've got the gaffer that's been at the club a long time. He's played in the derbies, so he'll know what it's all about. Obviously, don't want to really speak too much about them. We're not there about, but it's about us on the day, and we go in. We won't take nothing for granted. We're going to go in, and we'll all be up for it and ready to put a shift in.
And yourself, how's it been? You're almost, I don't want to say because it's a team game, but you're sort of almost one of those first names on the team sheet when you're available. Is that as a player who's been injured and had a couple of spells recently on the sidelines in the last couple of years? Does that help and sort of really instill confidence and allow you to really push on?
Yeah, it does. No one's guaranteed to start here. Like I know people think that everyone's got a God-given right to start like certain players, but I don't think that's the case. Obviously we train right every day, put it in training, and the gaffer picks the 11 he thinks are going to go out and win the game on the Saturday. But I missed a lot of football last year. I was out for 9 months, and then I came back and literally played the last 3 or 4 months of the season. So this season I've played the first 14 games of the season, and probably the break come at the right time when I did, not saying obviously for the circumstances where I was out for the Tranmere game where I got sent off, I didn't do it on purpose or nothing, but it probably came at the right time to give me a rest. And then obviously last week I missed out for illness, so Tuesday I was lagging a little bit, but I'll be ready and raring to go if selected for the Chester game. Hopefully we win here 4-5-1, and I'm not selected because obviously it means the lads have played well.
Absolutely, and that's the team spirit we want. Thank you very much for joining us at half time, and we'll get ready for the second half and see if Wrexham can get that 4 or 5-1 win.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Cheers, thank you very much.
Thanks very much,
Cheers.
Sam.
Bye.
Well, Mark will be joining us again for the second half, as Wrexham have come out from the dugout, just waiting for Leyton Orient to appear. But thanks to Sam there for a bit of an insight into his career and his time in Wrexham and reasons for coming here. And I think he's a popular figure, but has endeared himself to the racecourse faithful.
Oh yeah, Sam's he's quite a character. I think we're missing him today as well, aren't we, really? That little extra bit of cover in midfields might be just what we would need. But anyway, it's good to have Sam up there and having a chat to us at half time. As Wrexham are now out and Orient are in dribs and drabs starting to come out. Let's hope they're similarly disorganised when they're actually on the pitch. Wrexham 1-1 here against Orient. We'll put a podcast up of Sam and James's interview tomorrow, so you can have a listen in again, or if you just missed it, to have a listen to it. Dean Keats is on the pitch at the moment, giving direction to Marcus Kelly. If anyone knows how to be a left-footed playmaker in the middle of the pitch, it's Keats, of course. And we're nearly ready to get going with the second half of Wrexham against Leyton Orient.
I'm Sam Wedgbury, follow Wrexham AFC on Calon FM.
See what I did there? Sam Wedgbury with the bump. You see, it's not just thrown together, this stuff, you know.
There's a thought process.
Yeah, to an extent. I wouldn't want to flatter myself too much. Anyway, we're about to get things going again. As Wrexham defending the Kop now. Orient coming at them, and long ball over the top, which Dunn isn't able to come for. It bounces harmlessly through anyway for a goal kick. No changes at half time. Keep the Ask Wrexham questions coming. Phil Cooper asked a good one just at the end of the first half, which we'll get to in a moment once this second half has settled down. as Chris Dunn spots the ball up for the goal kick. So the blustery winds now will be behind Wrexham as Dunn hits it through the middle, misjudged by Sendles White, and Holroyd nearly got to eye on the stretch, couldn't quite, and then a nasty skipping back pass. Tell you what, Granger's done brilliantly to volley that to the halfway line because it was coming at him very unpleasantly. Musanka helps on Holroyd round the back of the fence, can't quite get to it. The flag goes up belatedly against him. Again, a borderline call, but it was dealt with by the defence ultimately.
Yeah, I think Holroyd's not guilty is the wrong word, but he's come from an offside position and then got back on, so I think the linesman's always going to give that one.
Phil Cooper's question is, do you think the players know what their individual jobs are, especially when the system slightly changes? We'll get onto that in a second. The next pause in play is Orient have a throw-in on the right-hand side. Yeah, do the players know their individual jobs, especially when the system slightly changes? This is supposed to have been done today. Are we doing enough on the training field, do we think? We'll answer that in a second. Orient come forwards, and it's a good touch on the edge of the area by Bond, who's been very lively up front. Ball's worked back to Westbrook, who plays a poor pass forwards. Rutherford intercepts and finds a Keel right, and he plays a sloppy pass. He's looking for Holroyd. It's Bocco who intercepts. And then halfway on Brophy, that's a bad touch. Keel right tackles him, and then Holroyd gets in well and gets in a challenge. But the loose ball picked up by Sendles White, and again Orient are able to work the ball nicely with the extra man at the back and work it over to the right-hand side. Caprice will have to square it into Westbrook, anchoring the midfield. Bocco drops off into the centre circle, and again, it's the pattern from the first half. Orient in control of the ball, working it round side to side, patiently looking for gaps. Brophy comes in narrow, he's coming a long way, works a poor ball to the edge of the area. Manny Smith back to Dunn, and Dunn has to hurry and clear it out of play. Do the players know their jobs, James?
I believe so. I mean, the training sessions I've managed to witness, or had fortunate to be a witness, they're meticulous. The preparation that goes in pre-match, after match, during the match, the video analysis. At half-time they're running across with footage to show the lads on what they should be doing. So I believe they're well drilled on what they're doing. They'll know exactly their roles against each formation, each player, and what to expect. I do think you can overcoach at times, though.
Yeah, that's true. Manny Smith Musanka wants a foul now, but not given. And Holroyd surely fouls him, and nothing given. Rutherford, and McCrath heads to the area, right to tackle, hits it over. Wow. Well, both sides angered there. Musanka seemed to be clattered by two men on the halfway line, and I don't know if the referee felt guilty that he hadn't given that, but for me, Holroyd blatantly pulled his man down. Ref didn't give it, and McCrath lashed a shot over the bar as a consequence. A strange little sequence of events, that, James.
Yeah, Holroyd definitely fouled his man, but when the ball actually falls to McCrath and he turns and has a shot on goal, should do better.
Yeah, McCrath did well initially because he had to ride a challenge. But then he lashed it over from the edge of the area, and the danger had passed. Yeah, I certainly wouldn't point any finger, going back to Phil's question, at the work on the training ground. I think this is an extremely well organised team. I think it's just maybe haven't got quite the right players in certain areas, and as a result, we've gone a little bit over-attacking in this shape, and also actually the players put into certain positions. I don't think it's that you don't know the rules, but it's maybe that we've got three of the midfield four who really are looking to push on, and Akil Wright isn't a holding midfielder either, and therefore it's a little imbalanced against a side that's looking to keep the ball as Wrexham clear from the throw-in.
Yeah, when I say overcoach, I think Dean's obviously got Dean and his staff have got a way they want to play. And sorry, the ball was just ping pong between the two goalkeepers, and I was just waiting to see if anything progressed. But yeah, Dean's got a way, and his staff have got a way they want to play, and I don't think necessarily that the players he's got in by hook or by crook are quite fit in that formation, and that's why overcoached. We're not allowing. Sometimes you need, I think, as a player on the pitch, you need a little bit of freedom to do. You're a footballer. Be paid to be a footballer at times. Yeah, as
Hurst is penalised controversially midfield, free kick. Yeah, I agree actually that often players can be overcoached, or a team prepared theoretically well, but then practice sometimes you do occasionally need the thump over the top, which Hurst applies sometimes. That sort of more raw approach. Orient have worked at the back, and now Musanka is chasing and working very hard, and so too is Rutherford, pressing and pressing. The ball's worked backwards. The ball's knocked long, and in the end goes out for a throw to Wrexham. about 30 yards out from their own goal. But the pattern at the moment, worryingly for Wrexham, is pretty similar to what happened in the first half, and they need to go a bit more direct, I think, try and get at them, as Hurst throw dives in the air, and he gives the ball away very tamely. As a result, it's a lovely ball by Dayton. Bon in the centre has got options, works over to the right hand side. Caprice has lots of bodies in the box to aim at. He decides to check out onto his left foot, then back onto his right, taking on McGrath, and pulls it to the edge of the area. Mooney's cross into poor one. Kelly intercepts. Why Caprice didn't deliver then? He had bodies attacking the box, and he's such a good cross on his right foot, and he decided not to deliver. Strange. Now here's McGrath in his own half, and he's really struggling to make any impact in this match. The ball's taken from him, and Ellis feeds it on, looking for Bon. Well done, Pearson. Nip between the two strikers and won it back. Then Rutherford wins a tackle, I thought. Free kick given to by the ref. He was right on top of it.
Yeah, harsh, that one.
Very harsh. I thought he won it pretty cleanly.
The only thing I can think of is come from behind, but it wasn't a nasty challenge. He just nipped in and got the ball.
Absolutely. Brophy now on the left-hand side. Gets inside Rutherford, but runs into a Keel right, who again breaks things up well. Rutherford, nice footwork, getting away from Brophy. Plays over the top. Masanka's run was blocked off, and the pass hit the linesman rather than the space behind the back four anyway. Throw to Orient just short the halfway line, left-hand side. Brophy's going to see if he can take it beyond the halfway line if he can. In front of the dugouts. I think Keats is having a pop at the referee. Brophy, ball in his hands. 52nd minute here on Calon FM. It's still Wrexham on Orient 1 as Manny Smith does really well, gets ahead of his man Kelly. Nice little touch on the turn in midfield, and Wrexham can down build on the left hand side now. Jennings accelerates forwards, running beyond Bon. He tries to thread it forwards, and it's inaccurate, and it gives it away. Luckily for Wrexham, Orient failed to break on them because Kelly breaks it up when it goes forwards. Now here's Pearson, good switch. Hurst in space on the halfway line, goes galloping forwards. There's runners ahead of him. He tries to stand it up for Holroyd, goes beyond him. Keeper's coming, defender takes it from him, no one puts it behind for the corner. Well, mix up between Ellis and Granger there, and Wrexham have a chance to put it into the danger area.
Yeah, the communication between the defence and the keeper, as we alluded to in the first half, has been suspect.
Corner right hand side, Kelly will sling it in, left footed. Keep the questions coming on hashtag ASKWXM. Kelly spots it up. Orient have left Dayton up, and that's it. Kelly will deliver. Masanka stands on the goalkeeper. The runners start pouring into the goal mouth now. Dangerous ball headed away. Pearson wants a penalty. He was pulled down, well, went down, should I say, well off the ball. No chance for us to see what happened there. Kelly feeds in. Pearson's gone down again off the ball. Akil Wright drives forwards, hits a flat shot, takes deflection, and goes wide. Flags up anyway. Wrexham want the corner, but the flag went up. It's a mess, this. So linesman's run across to say it's a corner. He flagged as if it was offside. Meanwhile, Wrexham players surrounding the referee because Pearson went down twice off the ball there, a long way off the ball. Neither of them, certainly I didn't see anything.
Yeah, strange passage of play, but we'll take the corner.
Absolutely. I'm sure he flagged for offside there. No, he obviously didn't. Kelly slings it under the bar, headed over. Pearson, just didn't get the right contact. I wonder if the defender, wow, he's furious. He thinks it's a corner.
It looks like it came off the defender's shoulder to me, and Pearson missed the header, but he's come flying in again, very much like the goal he scored the other week. This time, unfortunately, didn't quite connect.
So it's a goal kick. Yeah, Pearson came tearing in, didn't he? 6 yards out. And I thought he'd made it, but it took a funny touch off somebody because it flew away from goal almost and out behind, and Pearson couldn't believe that a corner wasn't given. And now a bit of time wasting from Granger as he takes his time spotting it up. Nigel Bond on hashtag Ask Wrexham asking, are we just too predictable? Get to that in a moment as Jennings will usher it out. Well, we'll get to it now in that case. Are we too predictable, do you think?
To a certain extent, yes, mainly because of the strike force we have. Holroyd is a good striker. He links the play. We don't have that target man I think you need at this level, really. I don't know if we're too predictable. I think our style of football suits a league style much more than it does a conference style, and I think that's I think this squad's screaming out for 4-3-3. I've said it all season.
I think in general this season, I think there's an argument we are a bit predictable and a bit flat creatively. That's not the problem I don't think today. I think the problem today is that Keats, understandably, has thought this is a game where I can try those attacking changes, but they haven't worked out. Partly because Orient have kept the ball very well. As Akil Wright wins a good header in midfield from the throw-in. Ellis launches it deep into Wrexham's half. Bonds won their header well against Jennings. It's partly cleared by Manny Smith. Comes back in again. Smith heads it away once more. Westbrook, cute little ball to Bon. turns inside Kelly, edge of the area. It's a lovely slaloming run by Bond, but his shot is deflected and bounces behind for the goalkeeper. You can hear a bit of excitement next to us. The BBC London commentators always are very shouty. He's a lovely fella. Had a good chat to him before the match, but he got very excited with a shot which went 15 yards wide there. That's gained the corner, left-hand side, which Caprice will take. Half the crowd turned around to have a look there as well. So Caprice will rip this in, right-footed, so lots of bodies in the 6-yard box. Dunn can't get through the crowd. Good header by Pearson as Ellis attacked it 6 yards out. It bounces loose on the edge of the area. Westbrook puts it back in. Manny Smith helps it on as well. Holroyd 2, but the wind gets blustery. Wrexham with the well to clear it halfway. Actually, you're right. Nearly charges it down on the edge of the halfway line, and that would have been a problem because he was chasing the last defender. Been a real problem for Orient. He's forced to throw in anyway. He's worked very hard in midfield, right, hasn't he?
He has, yeah. And just going back to your point before, I think I said it in the first half. Even if we had a Carrington Wedgbury in midfield today, I don't think we'd make any difference to dominating. We're just not playing that possession football in the centre. The way we're set up, we negate what's in the middle of the field. They're just literally there to shield and win the ball and pass it out wide. And yeah, something just doesn't click with the way we play. I know what they're trying to do. I know the way they're trying to get it, but it just doesn't click with our midfield.
I just wonder, as Orient take a throw in their own half, whether it might work in this game, because the big issue, I think you're right, is not personnel in as much as the extra man in the middle of the pitch for Orient. Whether 4-5-1 might be a better shape, as Orient have to work it around. They've forced Wrexham very deep in midfield now, and here driving forwards is Dayton, who takes a lovely little 1-2 of Bond. Dayton on the right, feeds over to Caprice, loads of space for him to cross, stands it in first time, this time to the far post. Hurst does well, gets up and beats Mooney, the target man, and it tucks on further by Rutherford, brought down by Bocco. Holroyd is pressuring him. Bocco has lovely footwork, a little step over, gets away from Holroyd, chance, pulls it back onto his right foot now. He's not going to cross it, is he? He's going to try and take on Holroyd again, works it back into midfield, helped on by Happy, the centre-back who's high up the pitch. Westbrook plays a dangerous little ball, but he's done well. He's found Ellis striding forwards. Good possession this from Orient's, patient play. And now Caprice has got Jennings isolated, goes on the outside of him, beats him, and stands across up, and Dunn takes it comfortably at the near post. Jennings, who I think may have pulled a muscle, and the referee has stopped play immediately. He has to stop play for a muscular injury, but he decides he's got to do that. Well, he says that, just to expand on my point. I know it may seem counterintuitive when you're at home and trying to push on and become more creative to take a striker off and put a midfielder on. But I'm just wondering whether the best way to do that in this match might be to get a striker off, put someone like Carrington on in the middle of the pitch, and then as a result we gain possession back and get a bit more of a grip in the game, and that allows our wingers to push onto their wing backs and try and force them back, and we end up getting 3 players into attacking positions.
Yeah, possibly. I can see the logic in it. The only issue you've got is if you're going to go 4-5-1, who do you sacrifice? And really the sacrificial lamb in this would be Holroyd, and he's your main threat. But I don't see him playing the solo target man effectively. He's much better at the linking play. And then Masanka, I just don't think we have the personnel for one. I do think it secures the flanks. I do think it would make us more solid and match them up. Leighton Orient are knocking the ball around nicely, and that move there has just typified what I want to see Wrexham doing, the passing. It's obviously not the style that Wrexham want to employ, and that's fine. You've got to, at the end of the day, we're third. We're having a half-decent season, and you've got to accept that to a certain extent. But I do think the league is there for someone to make a run at it, and I think we've got the players and the ability to pass the ball a lot better and be more creative without having to be. So going back to that predictable sense, are we too predictable? I don't think so, but to a certain extent, yes. I'm answering my own question, answering that question, and almost convincing myself. Perhaps we are. We're sticking to a rigid game plan, and this is what I'm going about earlier with the overcoach, perhaps. And we're not allowing players to express themselves. And therefore, when you revert to type, and you just stick to game plan all the time, if it's not working, what else do you do?
Yeah, fair comments. As Jennings cannot continue, he's limping off. He is walking off unaided, so hopefully it's a twinge rather than serious. Our next game is the Derby, of course. We have a week and a half to recover. Mark Carrington comes on for him, and it looks like Carrington will go over and fill in at left back. So that's a real blow for Wrexham.
Straight down the tunnel as well.
Yeah. You say about Holroyd being a sacrificial lamb. Well, maybe McGrath could be the sacrificial lamb with Holroyd out wide and Masanka through the middle.
Yeah, probably Holroyd. You know, I think McGrath's been unlucky because his brief sort of cameo appearances as a winger at times, coming off the bench, you think there's a player there wanting to start, and every time he started, I've been disappointed.
This play restarts, Wrexham get it forwards, Ellis clumps it long as the wind gets +3 again, and there's too much on that, and it'll bounce through to Dunn. He places it down at the feet of Hurst, and he drives down the right-hand side. Long ball over the top. Masanka won't get there to challenge, though. Ellis heads it away to halfway. Akil Wright is there, outnumbered. He can only poke it out of play for the throw in the halfway line. Throwing quickly, Westbrook wasn't looking, but managed to recover. Feeds it back into his own half. 61st minute here on Calon FM. It's still Wrexham 1, Leyton Orient 1. A ball over the top, and Hurst is done for pace by Bond. Luckily for Wrexham, the ball skips away for the goal kick. Shame that Wrexham have had to change a fullback, an injured fullback for the second game in a row, because it also restricts Dean Keats' options if he does want to change things around a bit. That's one of his 3 substitutions eaten up now. He's got Alex Reid, Scott Bowden, Leo Smith on the bench if he wants to alter things.
Yeah, I think Masanka would be the logical choice. I think Reid, and give him. I think he'd do well against this defence, because there is that gap between the defence and the keeper. But I think Masanka would be unlucky because I think he's put a shift in, but there's no goal threat there.
You took the words out of my mouth. He's worked very hard, but he's not really been threatening enough, as here's Carrington's first involvement as he tidies up and works it back to Dunn. Long left-footed clearance by him. Masanka makes it his. He's going back from an offside position, though. Shame that, because Wrexham has the wide players breaking beyond him.
It's poor, that is, and you know, you're running back 20 yards and still getting offside. It's poor.
Well, the crowds are complaining, I think, because Orient are taking the free kick in the Wrexham half, but that's the rules now, isn't it? The free kick's taken from where the player was offside. The crowds are in real uproar. They can't believe it, but those are the rules now. And Orient have worked it around the back well to send Caprice away. Down the right-hand side, plays at Dayton. Wrexham much too deep. Dayton, 25 yards out, can hit this. Decides not to, and Akil Wright comes to him, and he squares it on, and now Hurst is pressing and pushing the ball back to the halfway line. Good organisation by Wrexham after they dropped too deep initially. Ellis works it inside the extra man in midfield, is killing us though. Westbrook helps it on. Bocco works it wide. Caprice taking on Carrington. Looks to go around the outside of him. He's got support from McGrath, so it's pulled backwards. Bocco swings the cross in. Hurst heads it away. Holroyd's fighting to make it his, but the bounce deceives him, and it's headed back to the edge of Wrexham's area. Over clears. Masanka pulled to the ground. Nothing given. Brophy picks it up on the left-hand side and carries it forwards, feeds it inside. Nice ball to Dayton. Lovely first-time ball to the edge of the area, and the referee penalised Hurst, and he comes on the back of Mooney. Similar chance to one of Masanka. Wrexham fields a free kick in a dangerous area, edge of the area.
I think the referee's been sold on there. I think clever play by Mooney, and yeah, there's slight contact, but it's not a foul, especially if you're not giving Masanka one 20 seconds earlier.
He got touch tight to Hurst and was clever. I'd like to say Hurst is not the most subtle of defenders, so he comes charging in. Mooney gets touch tight, feels the contact, spins and claims this. And yeah, I agree. I think the referee was sold one there, but it's a shooting position. It's only about a yard outside the box. It's wide to the left post, but Bocco is standing on it as a right-footed option, and the centre-back, Happy, the youngster, is standing on it as a left-footed option. Referee has got a 5-man wall. Happy drives it into the wall and hits Holroyd in the face and spins behind for the corner. Left-hand side, it was a clean strike by the youngster with his left foot. That's Holroyd, the last man in the wall on the left-hand side, stud ground.
Majors to ruffle his perfect beard.
That's impossible. Nothing could ruffle his perfect beard. Corner then, comes in Bocco, straight down the throat of Dunn. He takes it. Now Masanka's up front. Dunn sensibly bowls it out to McGrath. Now there's a break on here. McGrath accelerates toward the halfway line, runs into trouble, is tackled. It's been so frustrating that McGrath's not been able to do himself justice. He takes the throw quickly from the wrong place. The referee allows it. Kelly, though, has to go backwards. Carrington back to Kelly. Wrexham passing it through midfield. Wright has to go back to Pearson. The fans unhappy, but doesn't get many options ahead of him, in all honesty. Oh, Hurst miscontrols a good ball from Pearson. Skids off his shin and out for the throw to Orient on the halfway line, left-hand side. Wrexham struggling to create much, really, here in the second half. Mind you, same could be said for Orient, to be fair. But they have more the ball, don't they?
Yeah, no team is particularly threatening.
Brophy fakes to go back. Dean Keats complaining that he's stolen yards. He throws it down the line. Akil Wrightman's a good header. Holroyd squares on Rutherford. Oh, a soak at that Brophy, surely obstructing this time. The ref gives it, and the fans sarcastically cheer. Hurst takes a quick free kick. It's a clear rolling ball, and what a shame, because they got that ball over the top right from Masanka, didn't they? But it's going to be taken again.
The weight on that one was perfect. It dropped right in his path and he could run onto it.
But it was a clear rolling ball, to be fair. The ref, he's been a bit erratic, I think, today. He was right there. It's a shame he didn't miss it like he missed so much else this match. As Hurst stands into the wind and hangs in the wind. Nanny Smith with an excellent glancing header. Holroyd is tripped, isn't he? Ref not giving it. Carrington, good ball down the flank. Kelly, 15 yards into Orient's half, but they've got bodies back. Kelly comes narrow, spreads it well. Hurst has lots of space on the right. Holroyd wants it early, plays around the back of the fence, looking for Masanka. Poor contact by Hurst. Masanka's done brilliantly to keep it in and backheel it, but he can't find a teammate. He did superbly to stop it going out for the goal kick. Hurst's technique poor there. Orient now feed it up to the halfway line. Bond shows good strength as Manny Smith is hassling him, and then Rutherford's chasing hard and does well to slide in and tackle throwing.
Yeah, lazy touch by Hurst. Then he had Kelly, good vision to get it out to him. He had lots of time and space, could have delivered. Even if he had taken the shot, it's just a lazy ball to Masanka.
It is a shame that although Orient have been the better side, I've got to say, throughout the match, in the first half, their defence looked vulnerable. But in the second half, Wrexham haven't been asking those questions. Here they come again. Akil Wright picks up a nod down from Holroyd, does well as he's under pressure to work it back to Marcus Kelly. He spreads to the left-hand side. Carrington comes narrow, works it wide. It's picked up by Rutherford on the left-hand side. Big one. McCreth, Rutherford still on the right and spread over to him, an ambitious diagonal and headed away by Brophy, throw to Wrexham. 4,432 is the crowd here today. Throw-in taken to Holroyd, he peels into the hole but then miscontrols it, and then Masanka catches his man. Referee doesn't penalise that. Clearly Masanka clattered into him. Westbrook's limping as he gets up. Wrexham have it on the left-hand side. It's over the top by Carrington. Ellis backpedals and heads it away into midfield, and Bocco gets that's a poor header by him, and he's found Rutherford 20 yards out. Rutherford can't glance it on to Holroyd though, and it's cleared. Sean Pearson launches it left-footed with height. Rutherford challenging it, wins it well, but Masanka can't quite get to it. Holroyd fighting for it now, are right on the edge area fighting for it. Neither of them can win the challenge. Wrexham are starting to put pressure on just by launching long balls in there.
Pressure but messy.
Yeah, oh absolutely. Oh, and then sloppy touch in midfield by Rutherford, and Kelly can't get to that. Orient can break here. Bond, left-hand side, level the edge area. Hits the goal line. Manny Smith holds him up. Bond pulls it back to the edge of the area. Dayton on his right foot tries to shot. Wall hit the bar, comes back out, and it's offside. Mooney hit the bar anyway. Great contact by Dayton. Mooney offside and went for the rebounds. Wow, Wrexham are so lucky there.
Yeah, Dunn's beating all ends up there. Nothing he could do about it. It's just a great strike, but not closed down really. Great run. Manny Smith didn't do enough on Mooney to hold him up, and he was an easy ball layoff.
Wow, Dayton 25 yards out, lovely strike, aiming to the top right corner, hit the bar from 20 yards. Wow, what a strike that was by Dayton. Here's Rutherford now lifting it over the top. Holroyd muscled off it, wasn't strong enough there, just shoved out of the way. And now here's Bond leaning into Hurst. Hurst has got a handful of his shirt. Ref doesn't see it. Hurst just launches it blind over his shoulder. And Akil Wright's jumping and beaten to it by Bocco. Manny Smith lashes it to the halfway line. Holroyd jumping on Westbrook. Clear foul by Holroyd. Referee naturally doesn't give it. Masanka, good balance as he's shoved in the back. Helps it to Kelly, who accelerates forwards. McCreth wants it behind the defence. Kelly hesitates. That pass is none now, but there's an overlap. And Kelly tries long-range shot instead, and it goes behind. That was almost like that Bond miss-hit shot from out wide, and was never threatening the goal.
Yeah, McCreth actually made a good run then, but the defence closed it well, and Kelly just ran out of time and space to get the ball through to him, so he would have not gone out to the byline, so left with little choice, unfortunately.
Yeah. So, goal kick, which will be taken by Charlie Granger. We've got just over 20 minutes left here on Calon FM. It's still Wrexham 1, Leyton Orient 1. Wrexham slightly riding their luck here now. Number hashtag ASKWXM if you want to ask us any questions on Twitter. Akil Wright in midfield, feeds it back. Pearson sorts his feet out well. He's passed the ball well, Pearson, today. He finds Carrington, who pokes it down the line on the halfway line. McCreth tries to flick it beyond Caprice and do him for pace. Caprice is too strong and nicks the ball from him. And Orient again have it at the back and they're working it around. Holroyd and Masanka work hard to try and press the strikers. He has worked very hard, Masanka, it's got to be said. And James is right, he hasn't really had goal threat, but he has really worked hard. The keeper takes a touch and Masanka gets very close to him. Granger launches it in a panic deep into Wrexham's half and out for the throw-in. Pearson wants to take it quickly. He's given it to Carrington. Carrington looks around for options. Back to Pearson. Wrexham passing it around in their own half. Pearson slings the spread to the right-hand side. Hurst stands it down the line. That's a nice pass. Rutherford, cute first-time ball around the corner. Masanka with the return. Rutherford around the back of the fence. Holroyd in the middle. Rutherford finds him. Holroyd scores! Brilliant breakaway by Wrexham. And out of nothing, tremendous burst down the right-hand side. Rutherford's playing a 1-2. Tremendous cross by Rutherford. And Holroyd had time to miscontrol it in front of goal and still lash it into the root of the net. And Wrexham take the lead.
Absolutely. I thought Holroyd had messed that one up then. It was a great play into Lincoln from Masanka, whose touch today has actually been really good, which is something I haven't actually ever been able to say in commentary before. So there's the first. But yeah, Masanka gets the 1-2. Great run on by Rutherford. Rutherford pulls it back. I thought Holroyd had taken too much of a touch and not the chance had gone, but his touch just clears home and he finishes into an empty net as such, as the defender and the goalkeeper dive to try and cover as much as they can. Wrexham take the lead, maybe against the run of play, but in the last 5 minutes Wrexham have really pushed on some question and asked the question to lead.
It was an unmissable chance, but Holroyd did his best. I think it's the best way to describe that. Yeah. He was completely on his own in the box, perfect for Rutherford, did brilliantly, both he and Masanka. And then
defender should have done more, really. He had it covered, he just run too far and it sort of ended up at Holroyd's feet.
Well, Holroyd was all on his own, wasn't he? About 7 yards out. The keeper stuck in his line, could do nothing. And Holroyd, hideous first touch, but the keeper was penned on his line, didn't have a chance to come out, and therefore Holroyd could still chase his poor touch, and he just smashed it into it. It made the finish slightly more difficult, but he smashed it into the roof of the net. And Wrexham have the lead. Now then, Orient immediately win a corner from the kickoff. They've also made a change. Matt Harold has come on up front. Straight swap, replacing David Mooney. Harold's a good target man as the ball is swung in dangerously. Dunn punches well at the near post. Now then, spreads quickly over to the right-hand side. It'll come in once more. McCrest in the defensive capacity. Can't stop the cross coming in. Good foot in though by Hurst. Can Wrexham break? Masanka has run the other side of it. Who plays this right? He lifts it over the top. Kelly looking to use his pace. He and Brophy chasing after this. Great pace by Brophy. Gets there first. Kelly to get up at such actually, to be honest, and Brophy worked it back. Kelly ran like a man in the semi-finals of the 400 metres. He knew his qualifying place was safe and just took her off the gas of it.
Yeah, unfortunately, Kelly playing that ball and Masanka running onto it, but good break, and again, clever play by Masanka, whose first touch and passing has improved dramatically today.
That's great work by Holroyd, who is on a hat-trick now, of course, in his own half. Just about manages to keep possession as he was tracking back and lost his balance. Wrexham clear through to the keeper, Granger. Rutherford steps up to pressure. Wrexham leading 2-1 here on Calon FM with 17 minutes left. You suspect there's a lot more to come in this game. Orient, who've had more of the ball, have got to take chances now, as Rutherford does brilliantly to get back and win a throw, and that's tremendous chasing back. Orient has outmanoeuvred him because they're the extra man, and he's still got back and knocked off his man for the throw.
Full of hard work, Rutherford, but Wrexham have got to learn their lesson from the first half when we took the lead. This time we need to be dominant and get there and hold and limit Leighton Orient coming back into this, because as the game goes on, both teams are going to throw the kitchen sink at it.
Orient have won the ball back from the throw-in. Masanka is having a lengthy complaint to the lines when he was right there. Masanka did seem to be held down. Nothing given. And Orient have it at the back now because Wrexham got their shape together well. I agree. Orient's defence isn't the best. And I think Wrexham need to keep pushing on and asking questions. If Orient overcommit, then there's a chance of a third. Ellis dinks it in. Well won. Hurst tracking Harold, the substitute. Heads it away to the halfway line. It's going to be Orient coming forward again. Brophy takes on Rutherford. Excellent tackle. Goes to ground and wins it cleanly. And now it's Masanka chasing and forcing the centre-backs to go deeper into their own half. Full spread to Ellis. And he works it to the halfway line. Westbrook always available. Threads it. A nice ball to Dayton, who helps it on and poorly. Brophy can't keep that in. Dayton should have done better. He complains to Westbrook. But Westbrook picked him out rather nicely, actually. And his layoff was inaccurate. Throw into Wrexham. Yeah, Masanka's put in a proper shift, and Rutherford, and they haven't really had much impact until they linked up so well to tee up that second goal. Throw into Holroyd, he flicks it on well. Masanka can't get to it. Brophy stops it going out of play. Keelwright steps in, great tackle. Masanka 50-50 gets there first and draws a free kick. Ref's not giving it. Wow. Fed up to Harold, he lays it off. Dayton driving forwards out to the flank towards Bond, converted by Hurst. And Ellis is holding his shin. I think he was hurt in making that tackle on Masanka, but I'm sorry, it's got to be a foul. Masanka got to the ball first, not away, and Ellis...
Yeah, got the first touch, turned it. I mean, he turned into two other players coming into him, but it was still a foul.
Yeah.
And Ellis has hurt himself in the challenge. And the referee was literally 2 foot away looking at it. So, yeah, bizarre.
That's something that's concerned me slightly with this referee, because he's kept up with play very well. Often, I think, well, that's a strange thing to miss. And I think, oh, he must be on the other side of the pitch. And I look, and he's 5 yards away.
Yeah,
the clear view.
He's done well to be on top of the play. He's obviously he's obviously a fit lad. He's getting around the place, but questionable decisions. But I suppose that's where you learn your trade. We have to accept that the referees are either trying themselves to get further up the pyramid, or they found the level or are on the way down. And that's the consistency of refereeing we're going to get. They're either learning their trade or they're not quite good enough to go any further.
Well, Alice is up and limping off the pitch, having been given treatment. If you ask us any questions on hashtag ASKWXM, we'll endeavour to answer them. 14 minutes left here on Calon FM. There could be a chunk of added time in the second half. Wrexham leading 2-1 through 2 Chris Holroyd goals, an unconvincing performance. But if Wrexham get the 3 points, who cares about the nature of the performance? Throw in taken, Dayton, beg your pardon, in midfield, works it back to the halfway line. Westbrook is there. Caprice wants it spread and receives it 10 yards into Wrexham's half. Feeds it to Bocco, goes back to the halfway line, and Wrexham are happy to keep their shape. As Sendles White works over to the right-hand side, and that pass puts Westbrook under pressure, but he passes accurately once more. Caprice is the opposite, sloppy play. Carrington intercepts as well to draw a man to him and click it past him. Now Holroyd under pressure, feeds down the line. Oh, unlucky. Nearly sent McCrath away. Just went out of play, throwing on the halfway line.
I'd still like to see Reid introduced for the last sort of 15 minutes of this. And, possibly for McCrath, and like you suggested, Holroyd out wide. I think that solidifies our midfield, but also that pace option up front does... it gives us something else as Leighton Orient will be pushing on and are vulnerable at the back.
You saw Holroyd work very hard on the flank. Tranmere doing Wrexham are down to 10 men, and he would be more a solid defensive option if he was Hurst. Ambitious at diagonal. Ooh, and Caprice just about dealt with that. McCrath was the target, and it was a horrible one to deal with. And Caprice, it wasn't elegant. He sort of got the ball stuck between his legs, but that did the job and stopped McCrath getting onto it as Orient knock it over the top. Manny Smith heads it away. Keelwright squares it on to Carrington, left-hand side. He drives over the top looking for Masanka, who jumps really well, takes it on the chest. That's excellent. Feeds it over the top. That's over-ambitious and will dribble out of play. He's looking for the pace of Masanka. Oh, it holds up, actually. And so Ellis has to go back to his keeper. But it was a great piece of hold-up play with Masanka initially. Pearson heads the ball clear. Keelwright again wins the 50-50. He's been big in the middle of the pitch. He gets the ball back from Rutherford. Hurst now in the right back position. Stands it over the top looking for the running of Rutherford. That's a good-looking ball. Orca wants control for Rutherford, but he's brought it down on the right side of the box. And it's good strength by Happy, who muscles him off and runs it behind for the goal kick. Will be taken by Granger. 12 minutes left here on Calon FM. Wrexham 2, Leighton Orient 1. Sun low over the Mould Road stand, casting long shadows across the pitch as Manny Smith wins the header. Kelly, ball gets stuck between his legs, but he reacts quickly and spreads it. Carrington, left-hand side, has got lots of runners going if he can release the right pass here. Holroyd's had to check his run. Carrington still has it, plays it down the line, looking for McGrath. It's a nice idea, and Ellis does really well going to ground to put out of play.
Yeah, held on too long for it there for me, but when you're doing that and you're not letting McCrath use his asset, which is his pace, and you're relying very much on him having to beat someone from a standstill, which I don't think is his game. It's knock it on the run and go past.
Yeah, as Orient have got another substitution ready. It's Craig Clay, who's a central midfielder in a similar mould to Westbrook. Interesting to see if it's a change of shape, this. Can't imagine changing one defensive midfielder for another would be an obvious option if you're trying to get into a game with 11 minutes left. Throw-in taken short. Holroyd to Carrington on his right foot, level the edge of the air, tries a little lollipop and then swings it in. Masanka beaten to it in the air by Sendles White. Harold lays it off deep in his own half, and Westbrook has pulled down, and Sean Pearson is going to start his collection of yellow cards towards his next suspension now. Dean Keats is furious, not at the referee, but That's the way that Pearson was left exposed. Westbrook went past him, Pearson grabbed hold of his shirt, and it's a yellow card for the Wrexham skipper.
Yeah, I mean, Pearson's taken the usual one for the team, but you don't want him to do that because we've seen he collects them quite easily, like James Jennings was at the beginning of the season, and we know what a miss he is, as proved on Tuesday. But trying to work out with you saying Clay coming on, I'm assuming they're going to have two midfielders in the shielding and then push everyone forward, including Boko.
He seems to have gone further forwards than I've normally seen him. It's Dayton who's come off. Dayton was quite threatening, I thought. Going forwards, he's the one who hit the bar, of course. Looks like there's pretty much the same shape, just that Clay has gone into a more advanced central midfield position as Rutherford works really hard to win the ball back. Hurst turns at defence and it's shanked out of play by Sendles White, through into Wrexham 25 yards out.
All ball Rutherford again there.
Yeah, just works so hard, doesn't he? And he's done really well second half.
Yeah, a quiet game in terms of contribution, apart from obviously the assist, which is important. But again, his work rate, even when he's not doing it, it's just phenomenal.
Dean Keats is lecturing the fourth official about something. Through taken towards the corner of the box. Masanka holds it up well, stabs it back to Akil right, and he spreads to the left-hand side. Carrington have to sprint to keep that in. He's got no chance keeping that in as it goes out of play, and Akil right hops up in the air to anger at himself. There's a chance to switch, which he got wrong. It has been difficult, to be fair, to pass it around in the wind. The Orients, with the extra man in the middle of the pitch, have done it pretty successfully.
There's a big switch on for Orient if they see it.
Caprice goes narrow instead. It's partly clears. Harold now plays that pass and finds Brophy in space on the left. Rutherford's come across to hold him up. Brophy gets inside him though. Can he deliver? Works it towards the edge of the area. Clay helps it on quickly to the right-hand side. Chance for Caprice to cross. He's got McGrath isolated. Surely he'll try and get past him. Drills it in the near post. Nasty deflection. Dunders brilliantly to get a hand to it. It was driven to the near post. Carrington facing his own goal, stuck a leg out and deflected it in towards goal, and Dunn did really well to lunge low to his right. Got a hand to it. It dropped loose in the goal mark. Nothing Dunn could do about that. And Pearson typically was the first one there.
Yeah, good reaction.
Now then, here's Boko. Oh, and he's got it all wrong. He plays it out wide to the feet of Brophy, just as Brophy does run inside the fullback, and it rolls out for a throw into the light of the Wrexham fans. But that was a lucky escape a moment ago, wasn't it? A driven cross to the near post. Carrington did nothing wrong, but stretching. Deflected towards goal. Here's Reid, and it is Masanka who'll come off. He's worked hard, Masanka, and he's worked hard to the final moment when he gets himself as far across the pitch as possible to waste time over this substitution.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a tactic that Wrexham have finally learnt, I think, from other teams wasting time against us. But yeah, Masanka, not been a goal threat, but his link-up play, his first touch and his passing has been much improved today. Yeah. Accumulated in that a second goal. There was key part to it with that touch, and just the pass around the corner was enough just to see him on. But Reid hopefully can ask questions in the last 10 minutes.
Excellent ovation from Masanka, and quite right, he's worked very hard. Throw and taken. Reid helps it on, tucked clear on the halfway line. Clay helps out. It's a poor one. McGrath picks it up. He's got Reid running ahead of him. McGrath beats one man, runs into trouble. The ricochet nearly fell to Reid and just dropped behind him. It's worked wide, and Kelly wins it back from Caprice on the left. Reid wants it played down back of the fence. Kelly sensibly, I think, protects possession rather than play the riskier ball. And now he scoops it to Reid. He helps it down the corner inaccurately. McGrath won't get to that. It's picked up on the right by Caprice, who juggles it and then plays a ball which asks a lot of Clay. He's done well to feed it backwards. Driven ball by Ellis. Manny Smith out muscles Harold. Hurst over. That's a testing ball. Reid on the chase. Ellis heads it back to the keeper. Kind of think they've really been a bit longer. You might have realised the one's catching the players out and chased that rather than waiting for it to arrive. But it's fresh on the pitch. He needs to acclimatise.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like you said, it's not as blustery as it was, but it's certainly affecting the ball when it's just level with the top of the stadium, really.
Yeah. Throw in. I'd say throw in for them. Orients have it in their own half. Westbrook spreads it. That's good work. Brophy cutting inside once more. He's got beyond Rutherford. Carries to the edge of the area. Might try a shot here on his right foot. And he carries on into the area and runs into trouble. Carrington gets a foot in. It spins for the corner. I think we've learned that Brophy's got no right foot there, because it was a great diagonal run in from the touchline. He ended up by the penalty spot. But
yeah, he's carried the ball a long way there and just not got anything away, and the defence was opening up in front of him.
And it was sitting there for him to hit it on his right foot for quite a long time. And he never pulled the trigger. He was clearly thinking, what do I do? I've got to try and get it back on my left somehow. But he was going so quickly, he just couldn't do it. But he's won a corner. on the right-hand side. 6 minutes left here on Calon FM. Boko swings it in, free header, it's 2-all. Great header, that. Tremendous delivery, and Ellis plants his header into the roof of the net. It was directly above Don, but there was nothing that he could do about that. Great delivery by Boko. And, well, you can't argue with Ellis's bullet header into the roof of the net, can you?
Yeah, unmarked at the edge of the box, and Wrexham can only look at themselves again there. It's, you know, it's coming a corner, a needless corner really. Should have dealt with the on-running attacker in the first place. Get a corner away. Delivery's perfect bullet header, but unmarked.
Frustration for Wrexham. 5 minutes left. They failed to protect the lead. Throw-in taken. Wrexham have lost the league twice. And McCrath burst onto it right-hand side, wins a throw-in, 30 yards out. The crowd try to encourage Wrexham. Carrington's coming up to take it. Reid lurks on the corner of the box, receives back to Carrington, takes it on the thigh, onto his right foot. He'll have to go backwards. He looks for the switch. That's a dangerous ball, but it's very well executed. Hurst back to the halfway, and Kelly puts into pressure immediately by Harold. Holds onto it well. Ooh, and then invites trouble, but he's got away from Harold and is driving forwards. Helps it across to Manny Smith. Smith stands at the diagonal. It's not a bad idea. Caprice covering. Ellis gets it well, heads it away. Keel Wright can't quite latch onto it, but ricochets off him. Carrington down the line. McCrath level the edge of the area. Back to Carrington on his right foot. Stands up towards the penalty spot. Easy header clear for Sendles White. Kelly in the midfield. Wrexham really pushing on now. Angered at letting that goal in. Hurst drives down the right-hand side. Dinks it into the goal mouth. Keeper's ball, surely. He's missed it completely. The whistle goes. Reid didn't bundle it into the net anyway. Holroyd and the keeper both jumped, and they both stayed down. The physios are running on, and the free kick's gone Orient's way.
Yeah, it's the any touch on the goalkeeper, I think. Holroyd's just jumped for the ball, and yeah, they both clattered into each other. They're both going for the same ball, but the wind's caused that, and both the keeper and Holroyd misjudged it. I think the Leyton Orient defender in fact got back there, so it wouldn't have gone in, but almost a hopeful ball in by Hurst. But Wrexham have got to come back into this game, and they've got 5 minutes to do it, but you sense there's a goal in this game.
Absolutely. That ball in, I sort of feel there was a collision, and I can understand why the ref gave it. My gut feeling was that the collision happened after the keeper misjudged it and they gone over in mind.
Yeah, I don't think the collision helped the keeper misjudge it or caused it. Yeah. Caused it. It was literally he misjudged it, the wind, and it landed behind him.
Reid, for a moment, looked like he was going to tap it into an end. The whistle went then anyway. Whether Reid stopped chasing because he heard the whistle or not, a defender got there before him, but Reid might have pulled out, so it'd be interesting to see that again as well. There's a few in this match we want to see again, aren't there? The first Orient goal, which looked like a mishit cross.
I'll look forward to the highlight package when it's released on Sunday night.
Midnight on Sunday, that's the earliest we're allowed to put it out, so that's when we put it out. Keeper's up, and much later Holroyd is up as well, and there's a free kick to Orient in their own 6-yard box. 2.5 minutes left here on Calon FM. There should be a decent chunk out of time, and as James said, this feels like a very open game which could easily have another goal in it, even at this late stage. Granger steps up to take the free kick, right-footed, and stands it into Wrexham's half. Hurst jumping with Harold. Great header by Hurst. Westbrook drives it forwards. Manny Smith heads it away. Brought down on the chest by Boko. Helps it inside. Kelly pressures his man. Can't win it back, though. It's good work by Clay. Spreads to the left-hand side. Brophy cuts inside. Rutherford's holding him up. There's an overlap for Brophy if he wants to use it. He's level with the edge of the area. He decides to come inside himself. And he's just having to go backwards in the end. He was rather indecisive there. Westbrook in the centre of the pitch. Feeds it back into his own half. Long driven ball by Sendles White. Hurst heads it clear. Kelly brings it down nicely, and the pressure in the edge of his own area works it backwards to Pearson. Not the best pass. Pearson has to jog back to retrieve it, and then feeds it forwards. Orient pressing hard in Wrexham's half, but Wrexham have evaded that, and Carrington's on the left-hand side now, standing it over the top, looking for Rutherford, who backs into his man and wins a good header, but no one's caught up with him. He's won a couple of decent headers in attacking positions, Rutherford, but no one's gambled on him doing so, understandably perhaps. So Brophy has a lot of space to carry it down the left-hand side. Hurst comes to him. Brophy stands it up, chested down by Harold, and clever ball by Bocco over Carrington. But Carrington will recover and will get there ahead of Caprice. Now he's penned in by the corner flag. Caprice tries to hold him up. Carrington goes one way, then the other. Drives it away, left-footed to the halfway, and Holroyd chases, and the wind deceives the defender. Luckily for Orient, Sendles White covers round the back and smashes it away. Manny Smith launches it back back where it came from. The wind holds it up horribly in the halfway line. And Sentleswhite plants it away. And it'll bounce out of play for a throw to Wrexham by the corner flag. The wind has made a big impact on this game. It has made it difficult for the ball to be moved around, hasn't it?
Absolutely. And Chris Holroyd just down now in the centre circle, struggling with after that last challenge. He'd sort of dropped off 20 yards towards the Leyton Orient goal, and then the ball held up and ended 10 yards inside the Wrexham half. So you can see what the wind's doing. It's like a wall up there.
Well, Holroyd looks uncomfortable. It makes sense, maybe. They've got Bowden on the bench. Wrexham are stripping a player off. It makes sense to bring someone on for him. 5 added minutes, and we've
seen some late goals and injury time goals this season so far.
We certainly have. And there's no action at the start of those 5 minutes, so I assume there'll be a bit more time added on beyond the 5 as Holroyd is limping off the pitch, and I think Wrexham will replace him straight away. Bowden is the obvious replacement. Yeah, so it's Leo Smith who's coming on. And it looks like McCrath is going up front. Holroyd scored 2 goals and gets an excellent ovation from the Wrexham fans. Leo Smith replaces him, as we are now in added time. Smith will drop off, I think, into the hole, perhaps behind.
Well, if you wanted pace, you've now got Reid and McGrath up front, so we've definitely got that, but it's Leo Smith's an interesting one. I think he had a great pre-season, but hasn't really pushed on. Kelly and Rutherford cemented their places in the wide, and rightly so, with the work rate alone.
His last appearance was the 12th of September, Leo Smith. He's had some injuries since then as well, to be fair. As Miles Judd comes on for Caprice, that's a straight swap as well. So, throw-in taken, I assume he was taking a knock. Throw-in and headed back. Manny Smith heads it on. Rutherford helps it towards McCrath, who's backing into his man. Good work. Brings down with his hand. Lifts over top. Reid now, looking to use his pace. Sentleswhite in trouble here. Hooks it wide. The centre-back did well. Happy helps it on a bit further. Akil Rice wrestling with Clay. Neither of them gets the ball as it swirls in the wind. Wright's done well to lunge in and win it and find Carrington. Carrington on the halfway line, looking for Leo Smith. It bounces beyond him. Cleared by Ellis. Orient can break now, or can they? Kelly's got in and did well to deceive his man. Didn't get a touch on the ball, but put him off. And Wrexham have it back. Carrington in his own half. Stands it up, right-footed. It hangs up in the wind. Reid beaten to it by Ellis. Hooked forwards by Clay. That could be awkward for Carrington. Yeah, he can only head out to play. The crowd groan, but to be fair to him, it's a horrible ball. He's backpedaling it, swirling in the air, and he's headed out square for a throw 30 yards out.
Yeah, I think that's just it's Carrington, so all grown.
Well, I think you may be right there. We've had 2 of the added 5 minutes. There should be at least another minute added on to the 5. Orient take the throw-in. Chance for Judd, who feeds it into the corner of the box. Barn is backing on well. Return pass, though, doesn't work because Judd hadn't carried on his run. Leo Smith lets it run out play for the goal quick and quickly bowls it to Chris Dunn, who tried to throw it quickly in front of him to get a hurried goal kick taken, but it rolled outside the 6-yard box, so he's had to retrieve it. Now he hits it left-footed through the middle. It's hung in the wind again. Rutherford beaten in the air by Clay. Hurst attacks this, gets to it first, drives it forwards, turning the defence. It's sliced out by Happy, throw into Wrexham, 25 yards out. Rutherford's calling for Keats to throw a replacement ball and quickly passes it on to Hurst. Thrown down the line, Wrexham in a real rush. McCrath tries to turn his man. Sentleswhite goes to ground and knocks it off Rutherford, and it spins behind for a goal kick. That could have gone anywhere off Rutherford, but didn't get lucky.
Yeah, and I'll go into the time-wasting manoeuvres now. I think Wrexham can. You look back at the game. I think a draw is a fair result. Possibly, I suppose, Leyton Orient argue they hit the post and the crossbar and could have been 2-1 up at one point. So there's been some positives. The all-out attack hasn't been the all-out attack, but with the attacking lineup, it's not been as threatening as I suspected.
Oh, goal kick's not the best. McCrath heads it forward. Reid, though, can't get to it. Throw in, 25 yards out from goal. Left-hand side, Orient defending. Will send it down the line eventually. As the ball is thrown forwards towards the halfway, and Hurst heads it into his own half. Pearson takes it on the chest and spreads quickly to Carrington. Reid is trying to make a run ahead of him. Pearson picks it up. Kelly in the centre circle. Here's Manny Smith. Will he deliver? Leo Smith is playing out on the left-hand side for Wrexham at the moment. Here's McCrath and Reid through the middle in the 4-4-2. And Wrexham are being pressed, and Kelly picks her up, the crowd getting impatient. Kelly in the centre circle threads a good little ball. Leo Smith takes a touch. He's under pressure though and has to go back to Pearson. Pearson, that's cute. Kelly on the halfway line, tricks his man, gets beyond him. Got Hurst breaking down the right. Kelly waits for him to get into a more advanced position before prodding him in. Hurst, first time cross, is not a bad one. Reid miscontrols it though, and it's Ellis slashing it to the halfway line. That's frustrating for Wrexham. Decent ball in, Reid's touch let him down. Pearson quickly sends it back out to the flank. Carrington, early ball in, chested down by Akil Rice, and a crucial touch to put it behind for the corner. It was nodded down, and Rutherford would have been one-on-one with the keeper, but just about Sendel's right stretched and headed it behind. Rutherford will take the in-swinger. Owens have everyone back in the box. Rutherford swings it in under the bar. Terrific crowd. Keeper punches it into the ground, and it'll be cleared, smashed away by Judd to the halfway line. Picked up by Carrington, who launches straight back in there. It's an easy header clear again for Sendel's right. Poor touch by Westbrook though. Leo Smith to Rutherford. Poor return ball, but Smith's done well to get to it and feed it down the line. Rutherford level edge the area, swings in the right-footed cross, volleyed away well by Ellis. We've had the 5 minutes now, but the ref has to add at least another 30 seconds on, you'd think. As Pearson deep in his own half feeds it forward. Kelly on the halfway line. Orient's calling for the final whistle. Oh, Kelly goes backwards under pressure. The crowd don't like that. Kelly has it once more. He's got to get it forwards. Drives it over the top. Masanka, I beg your pardon. Manny Smith helps it on. Reid, one over the keeper. Keeper saves. McCrath to the rebound. Drops loose. Wrexham want the penalty. Ref says no. Lunging tackle by Manny Smith. Wrexham are furious. The keeper stayed down again. And it's a throw to Wrexham. Well, did we have grounds to shout for the pen there?
Unfortunately, I'm going to have to say it's another one. I see the replay. I mean, McCrath had every right to go for it. I think he messed up the challenge more than anything. The shot, and then got hit in the sort of the melee that ensued. But yeah, Manny Smith, the great header. Reid couldn't quite get contact as it bounced up too high, and he only had to toe poke it. But yeah, brave keeper.
Yeah, he went out very bravely. I wasn't inclined to go along the penalty line, but I agree. It's another one to look at the replay, quite frankly. As the keeper's going to have lengthy treatment, it looks like here. He's not moved much, Granger. Twice he's needed treatment late on. Well, we're well over the added 5 now. Yeah, I think whatever happens, the moment the ball's back in play, the ref's going to blow up. If the keeper has to go off, I'm certain that he will, because he won't want anything to accrue when Orient have a replacement goalie. But he's not moved. It doesn't look good. The fans are angry, but the fact of the matter is, I think he is hurt, and he may need to come off. Is he move? I'm not sure he moved to his own volition then, or if they were trying to lift him.
He is moving his legs.
He is getting up himself. And Wrexham has sent their own physio on, and I'm not sure if he wants to get across the... Well, I've got the impression on the pitch they would ask for a stretcher. They are asking for a stretcher, but he's up on his feet now.
Is there another player down?
It's hard to see. There's a hell of a crowd. I don't think so. So that was a strange one. They seem to be calling for a stretcher for the goalkeeper, but he's now up on his feet, and he looks like he's going to continue. Very peculiar. Dean Keats isn't happy. The Orient bench have got a man on the fourth official pointing at his watch. Well, I can't imagine there's going to be much time the moment the ball comes on the pitch.
It's going to be one of those magic drop balls, though.
I think it went out. I thought it went out for a throw to Wrexham. The referee's blown his whistle before it's crossed the line, which I think is dubious, because it went out to play in normal play, and it's a contested drop ball by the corner flag. He's going to blow the second this happens, surely. Hurst will challenge then. Can Wrexham win this and get it in the box? Hurst tackles. It's cleared to the halfway line. Pearson chases. The referee
doesn't look interested in blowing his whistle.
For the moment, Pearson on his right foot squares it on. Carrington has got to put this in the mixer. Launches it in towards the edge of the area. Ellis jumps, heads it away. Rutherford's edge of the box, gets ahead to it. Can he keep this in? He pulls it back, and there is the final whistle. The crowd's angry, I think, at a lot of things that they've seen here today. But the final score here at the racecourse is Wrexham 2, Leyton Orient 2.
I'm Paul Rutherford. Follow Wrexham AFC on Calon FM.
So frustration for Wrexham. They dropped 2 home points in difficult circumstances. John Pearson is now lecturing the referees, not happy at all about what was going on.
Dean Keats is strolling over there as well.
Yeah, he looks it's a purposeful stroll as well, as he applauds the Wrexham fans. But yeah, it was a scrappy affair, wasn't it, in all honesty? Wrexham struggled to control possession. They went for an attacking configuration and frankly, as a result, failed to control possession. But they went ahead twice, squandered the lead twice, and will be hugely disappointed, especially with the nature of that second goal, I think, because we don't tend to let goals in from set pieces, do we?
No, Dean's wandered up, said his piece, pointed at the penalty spot and walked off. So, yeah.
Now, there's a few incidents we'd want to see again, aren't there? That challenge in the box, there are a couple of challenges in the box Wrexham would like to see again. The Orient's first equaliser, which looked like a mishit cross, was just soared overdone and into the top corner. But ultimately, Wrexham took the lead after just 44 seconds, Chris Holroyd scoring, and at that point, you rather suspected that we were well on top of things. But Bond's equaliser, which looked like I said, like a cross, gave them a parity at half-time. And although Holroyd gave us the lead again in the 71st minute, with 5 minutes left, a diving header by Mark Ellis from a corner means that out of form Orient get a precious away point, and Wrexham had the frustration of dropping 2 points at home.
Guilty of not solidifying in the first half and the second half, taking the lead both times. A draw is a fair result for me, but you know, we're looking at these fixtures. We said earlier, you know, you'll be looking at hopefully 9 points. We've got points so far.
Yeah.
So you know, disappointment, but. You know, that's football. It's interesting to see where we are on the table as the other results come in.
Yeah, absolutely. It's time for a quick man of the match call. James, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a couple of players that come out with some hard work. Rutherford put a great shift in as we come to expect, but not that involved. I thought Keal Wright had a great game in midfield when we did play through midfield, but he certainly cuts out a lot. Pearson had a decent game at centre half, but Manny Smith was quiet. Chris Holroyd 2 goals, and that, you know, we've been crying out for a striker that scores goals. He is doing that. He needs some support because he is the link striker, really. So he's weighing in with his, and I think he deserves his man of the match. He works hard. He links play. There was players out there that put good shifts in, but we're just not creating. It's just not. There's something missing.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't argue with that. Holroyd 2 goals in a side that struggles to create is a genuine achievement.
Yeah.
And what a frustration for Wrexham that twice he gave out them the lead, and twice Wrexham failed to hang on to it, because this is a Wrexham side that normally does hang on to that sort of thing. The suspicion now, having seen that, is that putting a more creative midfield out isn't necessarily the answer for the squad Dean Keats has at the moment. For the final score of Wrexham 2, Leyton Orient 2, we'll hand back to the studio.
Calon FM on 105 FM. Your community, your music.